Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All
for
right.
the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Welcome to the party.
And Simon.
Hello.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar, I believe you have some patrons to go over.
It's my favorite time of the week. Yeah, man, the post-Joseph bitch is going off, eh? We got feedback from fans coming in and stuff, and it's just like, subscribe, smash that notifications button. Really helps propel our podcast into those rankings. This week, a big shout out to Joe Kiel. I like that.
Shout outs, Joe.
What up, Joe?
My
Joey
man.
Kiel from France.
Oh, salut, mon ami.
No, I'm just making that up
Oh,
just to make it
come
seem
on,
more
asshole.
exciting. But to all our international listeners, I just hope everyone's doing great. It's so good to be here. I love you guys.
Fucking asshole.
Kamar, how was your week?
Pretty quiet week. I think I just got dunked on the Reddit for most of the week. So I think
On our Reddit?
our Reddit, yeah.
Why, what were people dunking on you for? Why are you even on there?
Yeah. You
Let them
go
be
on
mad.
Our Reddit.
I think I like the hate. Maybe we're too conspiratorial at some points with no fact-based evidence, but who has that?
That's
And
what people said.
all
They're
I-
listening to us for fact-based evidence.
all I want to say is I am not rich, and nor are my opinions. It's just a desperate person. I'm the Cheeto guy without the video game, living in my mother's basement. And so that is my take. If it offends you, know that.
Wow, you must have really been hurt by what someone said out there.
Well, no, what it was is, the thing about replying or whatever, like, who are you? What are we arguing about here? Like,
Yeah.
what? If I concede to you, then nothing changes. It's just, yeah. I mean, if you hate listening, welcome aboard, man. I don't mind that. And
You're forgetting, too, that we're all very different and that people listen for different personalities, right?
but I think that was one of the complaints is we're starting to homogenize. Ever since you've gone on the deep end with Hawaii, you've really embraced a lot of things.
That's hilarious. I mentioned one thing to you guys off air, might I add.
You may add.
Yeah, and that's it. All I said was it's just worth noting.
Well, it was on air.
No,
And-
you guys brought it up on air that I had brought it up outside. I made a point of bringing it up
Doxed you.
outside.
We conspiracy
Yes.
doxed you. I just think you were historically the cynical pushback voice, and I guess some people feel like you've been co-opted, but it's all fun. And I think there was a real turning point in Joe's philosophy this week about positivity. I think that came out in one particular episode.
Oh, it
And
sounded
we-
like he was speaking to us.
Well, yeah, and we should hear that. And
Nope.
Well, that's why I've turned over a new leaf.
Have you?
This is the new me.
I mean, no disrespect. I've watched you turn over 5 years. How many leaves has he turned over?
I mean, it's at least like 10 a year. So looking at like 500
50 leaves.
Or yeah, sorry, 50 new leaves.
I don't know if I've ever turned over the positivity, see the best in everything leaf.
Well, hold on though. Out of the three of us, you have been consistently throughout the 5 years the most positive.
Well, I'm going to turn up a notch.
Okay, are you? That's great.
And
That's wonderful.
Spinal Tap, where they say, yeah, most go to 10.
Yeah.
We're going 11. I'm going 11 of positivity. Oh, yeah, and also, as I was going to save it, college kids, you have the best time of your lives, guys. Get out there, have a good time. Don't let anyone stop you. It was a close. Do you ever watch college football on
Occasionally.
Saturdays? Well, the crowds are always like going crazy. They're always packed and they're always going excited. And I went to our local university rival and it was fun.
Okay, for American listeners, like 4,000 people show up for this thing. So Kamar, when he's talking about it,
So, dude, it's back, it's back.
30,000 that show up to the college game.
30?
No,
More?
like 90.
120.
Really?
They're huge.
Michigan State.
That's how many people can fit in their stadium?
Some of the
Yeah,
stadiums are
Michigan State, I think, set
gigantic.
the record for 130,000
And
people
they
at
have
a
theme
football
songs
game.
they come out to. It's a great energy. All I'm saying is, you know that frizzing you like in a crowd when you hear everyone cheer.
Yeah.
There was a big play. Some kid made a run, and the stadium went, and it was like, exciting.
You definitely went to see that game for the football.
I went for the girls, the scanty
for
clad
sure for the football.
groupies.
You don't give the guy any credit for at least being straight up honest.
Oh, does he have a choice? I was about to out him.
Yeah, he has a choice.
It's
He can
like
be
you
what are you
said,
talking about?
one girl is safer because I'm not there, as you said before. We all do our
I mean,
part.
he misspoke. It's like many girls are safer with you not there.
I didn't mention a number. I just
he's
said in
giving me
general.
credit.
In general, they're safer. Simon, how was your week?
Oh, my week was fine, Matt. I'm not going to talk about myself, but I am going to tell you about something I learned this week.
Your son's in Italy. That's fun.
Good for him.
Is he single?
Yeah, he's with my brother. Is that what you mean?
Your
like,
brother
is he
slays,
traveling
man.
single?
Your
Like,
brother
like
slays,
he's got a
man.
girl here waiting for him that
No,
he
yeah,
would have the problem of
No.
contemplating cheating on her with an Italian broad. To put it classy.
Anyways, so Montana, you know it? It's in the States.
The state of Montana.
Yeah,
I'm
the
aware of
state
it.
of
Yeah.
Montana.
Yellowstone.
Did you? Yeah, Yellowstone. Did you know that Montana has some of the most megalithic structures ever found in the world?
Pyramids, maybe.
They do have a couple of pyramids, but it's mostly. Do you know what dolmens are?
I've heard the word, I believe.
Dolmens are like two huge megalithic stones within one megalithic stone as a capstone. Sometimes they're built into like a mountain or something. It's just it looks like a giant altar type thing. Anyways, they find them all around the world. Like literally, you know how we say, oh, pyramids are built here, here, here. They outnumber pyramids.
10 to 1. 50 to 1.
So
100 to
many,
1.
yeah.
2,000 to 1.
Anyways, just more proof that there was some
But they're much easier to build, are they not?
well, not they are than a pyramid.
Compared to a pyramid? That's what I'm saying.
But moving these stones is not an easy feat.
No. I wasn't saying it was easy. I'm just saying.
Check out the ones in Montana. Just write in megalithic structures, Montana. They have like these massive fucking walls that look like Cusco, Peru. They have, dude, it's so crazy. One of their dolmens it's the highest dolmen in the world, and it's so fucking big, dude.
Is there
Like,
evidence that it's man-made? Or is it like it could be?
I mean, some of the fucking dum-dums say that it's natural, but it's no way they're natural. It's like, have you ever seen that wall they found in Texas? Again, it's this like big megalithic wall from God knows how many thousand years ago. It's so obviously a wall. Like you can see the rocks are placed together to make, and they still, no, it's natural formation of rock. Like, are you fucking crazy? And what's hilarious is like most people don't care. So they say it's not not man-made. It's not man-made. You know, that's just boom, history.
Well, it's spooky that it's. I mean, has this been known about in small circles, or is this coming out?
These
right
were
now?
discovered in like 2014 or something. Like it hasn't been a long time, but
Simon,
what
that's
I always
a
find
great
baffling.
tagline for your new podcast. Boom history. You can even call it Boom History.
Boom History.
You just
I
do
like that.
10-minute episodes where you take like a really, really heavy historical event and you just condense it into into literally
there
like
was this guy Hitler.
This is what I'm saying.
He
too.
hated Jews.
Oh my god, this actually
Boom
sounds great.
history.
Boom history. I like
I
this.
like it. Yeah.
Fuck, we should do that, man. That's hilarious. Boom history.
And that was pretty much it. Yeah.
So you
for
just
my
learned
week.
about Montana. That
Well,
was
yeah, and yeah, just pretty much learned about Montana.
Oh, fair enough.
I,
Teach their
I
own.
also saw the girls at the football game.
Give him credit for being honest.
He's from a distance
I
with
was
binoculars.
I was at a light the other day, and this really pretty girl walked across the street, and I watched her. And as I like got to here, I looked to next to me, and there was like this greasy old man doing the same thing. I was just like, oh,
I've reached. Yeah.
this is me.
Or was it just a mirror?
There's somebody on that side looking to me, you know. Anyways,
Yeah, getting old sucks. It's the worst because you're like, well, that girl's got to be 25, and you're like, well, that's still gross.
well, I just continuously look at myself as like a 30-year-old.
yeah, of course, yeah,
Through your eyes.
yeah. I'm
That's what
still
I would say.
25, and yeah, but I'm not.
Till you get in front of a mirror.
Yeah,
or you just sort of try to smirk at a girl walking the street and you see her just
Oh, I don't smirk.
right through you.
Smirk at them.
Nah, I don't.
They don't know you're there.
No.
Yeah. Invisible.
They have zero reason to look at you except for that you have a weird mustache.
Your eyes deceive you.
I caught a glimpse of my neck this week, and I was like, oof, because the neck is really it's like the lines on a tree. But
You have body line body.
Is it because you have like a waddle?
Dysmorphia.
Is that what you're worried
it just
about?
starts to get old. The neck is where like you really start to notice
I
age,
see.
and
You
I,
just
it's
You
no
look like
body
a
dys-
baby face
Grow a
assassin.
beard and then you can have like.
I think
Yeah.
we're all our own worst critics when we look at ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
No, we're your worst critic.
That too.
My week was fine. I don't think there's anything to.
No big labor.
No big labor. What's that?
We've been
Like,
putting
did
this
you
house
give
together.
birth?
Oh no. I think it's hilarious that they found Tupac's killer. I guess you have that for the post, Joe.
Well, there it goes.
No, it's fine. We'll talk about it on the
won't
post,
talk
Joe.
about it.
Let's go over the guest list, Kamar, so we can start the week.
I'm just looking forward to Simon's new segment on the post, Joe. All the stories I missed.
Boom, history.
Boom.
So it was a huge week. This is the first time we've had 4 guests. There were actually 5 episodes, but we don't listen to MMA
Did you say the first time?
in a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time ever.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking
2039, Michael Easter. It's not even April. Boo. 2040,
about? April.
Eddie Bravo.
Boo.
Followed by 2041, Steve Strope.
I mean, I assume boo.
Give the man his flowers. Then there was the MMA episode with Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch. And we finish off the week with the Saturday drop we all love so much. 2042, Joe List.
Why are you keep making all these weird underhanded comments about Joe List?
It was not Joe, it's the Saturday drop. Because I had got all my listening up to date, felt pretty good about myself. I said, you know what? I wonder about that Sean O'Malley kid. Now, we've seen him on the podcast before.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how he is as a champ. Is he annoying or whatever? And 50 minutes in, I get the message, Saturday drop. And I had to abort the Sean O'Malley and
You know
jump
what?
into...
You're probably lucky that you aborted.
Oh, you did listen to it?
No, but Sean O'Malley's a twit.
Joe List. And like I said, he walked into a wood chipper there. We're just having jokes here. Hey, Joe, we just have a good time. Did you listen to the Tinfoil Hat?
What was the wood chipper?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Episode.
We'll get into it.
Simmer down. Simmer down.
Did you hear that guy in Tinfoil Hat trying to explain how you don't have to pay tax?
Oh, he did. Yeah. That doesn't apply to us, but if I was an American, I'd be looking
You'd be
into
looking at
that
it.
shit.
You just have
You
to-
declare yourself. I'm sorry, Kamar.
You just have to forfeit voting.
You declare yourself like the state of Montana.
So you're
you
like
know?
Puerto Rico.
And then you don't have to do shit. They give you better services and you don't pay
It's
tax.
almost like you become a diplomat.
Has this guy done this successfully and not gone to jail?
Apparently,
He says
he
he has.
says he makes diplomatic plates, and then you can just park anywhere you want, Matt. You can never be pulled over.
Because like if you found out that this guy was Wesley Snipes' financial advisor, I'm sure you'd automatically be like, well, hold on.
Listen, I have no idea what this guy's deal is. He was on Tinfoil Hat, so
I'm just saying I've heard this many times about the states. These you don't have to pay income tax sort of things, and then you constantly see people going to jail for not paying their income
it's
tax.
true.
So
Somebody told Wesley Snipes that because he was an Egyptian deity, he didn't have to pay United States
yeah,
income tax.
trust me, you're good,
anymore.
Wesley. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a little bit.
Nobody's going to question a god, Wesley.
But apparently it's like this thing where you apply. It's like ordering something off the secret menu. Like you send this form to the IRS. They're like, oh, you got it.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
everything everywhere all at once. You just got to say the right phrase, like hot dog fingers in a sauna, and the
It's-
government's like, God damn it.
It is some phrase.
99.9% of people will never like tick the yes box.
Yeah.
And when you do, they're like, oh, fuck, they got me.
They figure it out.
They got us.
You can't.
It says, have you ever eaten a
Here's
silica?
$1 million.
It says, have you ever eaten a silica package? And everyone ticks no. But if you if you scratch away at it, it's like, would you like to not pay
Yeah,
taxes?
exactly.
All right, well, let's get started, Kamar. Get it started, buddy.
I rate the week, like a 4.5.
What?
It was just a great week. It was lots of
Shut
guests,
up.
lots of difference, not
Shut
talking
up.
about the same old things, new topics.
Okay, we're gonna
Everyone-
start
Everyone
again.
brought their A game.
Re-rate it.
I give it a 4.9.
No. Do it for real. There's no fucking way. People listen to your rating and they count on it to know whether to listen to the week.
That's fine. If he wants a 4.5,
I'm going to give it a 3. It was just a great week.
Was not a great week.
I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I'm not even calculating. I'm giving it a 2.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought you were saying I didn't even listen. And I'm giving you
Well, that too.
yeah, okay, we're right on. We start off the week with 2039. Michael Easter as a health fitness writer, professor, author of several books.
Vikings.
Yes.
Well, they're in the game now, if that's what you're excited
Yes,
about.
I am excited, Matt.
Did you have JJ touchdown score?
Yes.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Nice.
Tick that one off the fucking box. Sorry, Kamar.
They start off the,
Jefferson, is that who you're talking about?
JJ, Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
I have them on
So
every
you're-
one of my
so you
cards.
have 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
they started talking about the boneyard guy, the woolly mammoths.
Yeah.
And have I explained to you what I believe my theory is?
About the water guns?
No, how all those mammoths are concentrated in one spot. That it was a tar pit, and they started walking, and there were so many, they just stampeded themselves.
But wouldn't eventually some of them survive? Walking over the dead.
Eventually, it would be a pit of pure
Like they'd be like a path,
carcass,
right?
and the last of the
So you think
the lineup.
thousands, hundreds or thousands of animals got stuck in this tar
What they're
pit?
saying is this one particular spot.
I'm not, yeah.
And they made a bridge out of themselves eventually, and then the rest made to wherever they went.
I think they know when it's a tar pit, though. I thought the whole boneyard thing was something like the river washed the bones down, and that was like the
They
end cap
deposited
of
it
the
there.
river.
Well, that'd be
yeah.
different. From what I understand, it's something happened.
Because
sort of-
tar pits, you find because they have those La Brea tar pits,
In LA, yeah.
LA, where they found a lot of dinosaur bones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, I do you know that for a fact, or you're just hypothesizing?
No, he said it's his hypothesis.
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
excellent.
I'm just throwing that out.
The best part about our hypotheses is that we never experiment to find out whether we're right or not. We just throw out random shit.
But you see, the
But what do you
mammoths
propose
don't even
we
know.
do? We head up to the boneyard and
Yeah,
like
let's get some answers.
We'd have to recreate it.
That's what I hate about not being successful is that a successful like YouTube podcaster is like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a video. We're going to spend 10 grand. We're going to fly up there.
It really is what separates the men from the boys,
Oh yeah, 100%.
or
yeah.
the mice from the men, or the girls from the guys.
no, that doesn't work anymore.
But again though, like I was reading, I don't know if you know this, but what percentage of books
100.
released in a year do you think sell more than 5,000 copies?
Oh my god, it must be so few.
5%.
2%.
Close. 1%.
Yeah.
So it's the same.
There are so many books released a year.
No, but it's like podcasting. Like, you know, we don't get numbers that are going to make us anywhere close to rich or even pay any bills, but we're in the 1%. We're in the top 1%.
Right, but the same can be said for you're in the top 1% of wealth in the world.
I
and
get
you're
it.
Certainly not.
Well, what I
you
was going to
know?
say though is you have to be in that top 0.01% to
yeah,
be,
right.
yeah,
Right.
which is fine. We're on our way. Rome wasn't built in a day. Kamar, what else you got, pal? That's it for this guy?
No, they talked about how
I
fast.
mean, I think it was built in under 7 years, though.
No way.
Okay, well, we have 2 years.
He talked about exploration is part of our like DNA sort of thing,
100%.
and how bad.
It's because
agree with that.
curiosity is built into the human genome, you know?
But if those people have to go to Mars or
me.
something, they have to be bred to do that.
To go to Mars.
Like be not have any of the creature comforts we have, like eating different types of food and variation in life. They have to sort of be.
I think it would take a special kind of, it would almost take like like fast evolution. I don't think if we sent 100 people to Mars, I don't think more than 5 of them would survive.
The trip or once they got there.
Once they got there. We've never had a human being lose sight of Earth.
I don't think it makes a fucking difference.
I do, I
you
think-
lose sight of
You're-
Earth.
I do. I think
feeling
your
a
psyche. I
sensation
think.
of
I
lost.
think your psyche. I just don't know that we're mentally.
Once you're in space,
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a fucking difference whether you see Earth or you see another planet. Like you've already done the hard part. You're in space.
You're missing my point though. If you're in space, let's say you're in Earth's orbit or you're heading to the moon or something like let's use the Apollo 13 just as an example, assuming that it went to space, that it all happened. Let's just go with the narrative, okay? There's a part of you that's like, there's a chance that like it's right there. I can see it. There's a chance that we can get back there. You're forgetting too, Simon, that if you're on Mars, we don't orbit the same. So there's a point where we are on opposite ends of the sun even. And that is
I think that anything within our own solar system, like within the planets that we know, all the way up to Pluto, you would, if you're in space, you would probably feel some sort of like we're still within our.
I don't know.
You know,
That'd be with current technology as we have now it.
As we have it
have
now.
we have now it?
Yes, Kamar,
Versus
that's
if
correct.
there's all of a sudden you could teleport there in a minute.
Well, that's totally different. Then
Totally
you can just
different,
come
totally
home.
different.
Yeah,
If you're
but
just on
given what
some
we have now,
can floating through space.
like I said, if something, let's say something happens up there, and like an emergency, like I said, if you're on the opposite end of the sun, there's nothing. There's just like you can wait 6 months until we're within orbit, and then maybe we'll have something we can send up to
You
you.
wouldn't want to have a family waiting.
I mean,
for
that's
you.
so useless, right? That we have these rockets that depend on like hooking up to other planets' orbits and just fucking build something that can putt around like a submarine. There's no.
Like an X-wing fighter.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no limitation. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, we're settling.
What are we wasting our time?
So yeah, he's a reporter, and he talked about how like we have so much access to information, but it's really hard to actually do credible research on something. We all live in the headlines.
Who was this guy?
Michael Easter.
Was
weird
he a
'cause
fitness instructor?
He's a fitness, health, wellness, but he spared us with sort of that details. We're about to get into what was interesting about it.
Well, and I thought too when he came on, I thought he was a hunter,
Oh, me too.
and I was like, oh my god. And then I was pleasantly surprised when very little, not no hunting, but very little hunting was brought up.
Well, it came up in other
He was a
episodes.
hunter because he did a
Well, they went hunting together.
journalism piece on hunting.
Well, he's been hunting with Joe.
No, I know, but I think that's why
Okay,
he started
sure.
hunting was
Okay.
because when he writes his
Credible
pieces, he puts
research,
himself
yeah.
into the.
He's put to rest the Earth is round. It's not flat.
Oh, he put the to rest
No,
for
Joe
you?
told him right away. He could have been looking at a disc and it was just sideways.
Well,
the
I've
guy
said
doesn't
that
know what the
before.
fuck he's talking
It's
about.
still like the whole thing is within 5,000 meters. Sort
And
of.
what did he say? Why did he say he knew?
do you mean the whole
Has he
thing
been
is-
to space?
The guy told him who had been to the space.
Well, okay. Somebody told me that they saw Bigfoot.
no,
but you still don't believe
he
that Bigfoot
FaceTimed the guy in space,
suspect.
and he showed him the little round window that showed it.
Hold on, I'll say this. Right now, if you told me someone's FaceTime someone in space, I wouldn't find that to be that outlandish. Only because when you FaceTime someone, it's going to a satellite.
But
coming,
in the 60s,
yeah, I have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
Yes, I do.
right?
Yeah, of course.
Instantaneously. You know, the delay was like a second.
A second. They couldn't do jack shit back then.
Matt, it's like a 6-second delay at that point to phone Europe. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
know,
And
yeah.
it's 1 second. Like, shut up.
But for all intents and purposes, the world is round.
I've been listening to a lot of stuff about there being a civilization that used to be on the moon and on Mars because they say that they find like pyramids and structures and it just, you know, it seems totally far-fetched.
Yeah.
But again, Earth has existed for so long. What before there was like, that we are the cumulus of however many millions of years of, I guess, evolution. You wanna
Culmination?
call it? What did I say?
Cumulus, I think it's a cloud.
Whatever. We get what you're saying. Keep going.
I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, the
winks at
culmination. The culmination. How did you know I have my glasses on?
Oh, he winked
Oh.
at me. Did you both wink at me? Because that's pretty weird.
The culmination of all of that just seems to me to be like a super arrogant.
We're giving ourselves too much credit. Everything's just happening
let's
this time.
let's just put it this way, okay? We know for a fact, and then I won't talk about this anymore. We know for a fact that 10,000 years ago there was a mass, flood, something that wiped out almost everybody. They know this. That's like, even science is agreeing to this at that point.
Well, hold on.
Meaning,
Hold on. Wait.
Nope.
Even if science agrees at this point, you would have to admit, given the way science works, that 100 years from now, 50 years from now, someone could come along with stronger evidence that goes against that. Just because, hear me out. We believed this one narrative forever because it's what science said.
I'll tell you why we should believe it, Matt.
I'm not saying we
because
shouldn't.
both sides are saying the same thing.
I'm not saying we shouldn't believe it. What I'm just saying is
Okay.
you're saying it with
you're getting bogged
Okay.
down. You're getting bogged
well, you're
down.
saying it with the certainty that you shouldn't.
Okay, so 99% that happened.
Okay.
meaning that we are the culmination of 10,000 years of
Evolution.
this, not evolution that man had to get from an amoeba to a whatever, but like civilized since civilization began. How old is the earth?
Billions of years old.
Why do we assume that this 10,000 years is the apex? Because we're the most in the future, which means zero.
But we only go off what we have evidence for, Simon.
Well, evidence for it. What do you mean?
Well, you're saying we think we're the apex. I'm saying that's all we have evidence for. If someone found something buried super deep.
Every time that they try and bring forth the idea that there were civilizations before us, they get poo-pooed. That's because there is an arrogance to us right now that we cannot accept the fact that a previous group of people in the
I'm with you.
past
I get what you're saying.
were smarter than we are.
I get what you're saying.
I'm done now. Boom. History.
Go ahead, Kamar.
They talked about how complainers and cynics tend to be unsuccessful. I mean, there must be some
at us
examples
go.
where critics are,
Yeah, I don't think that's
Thriving.
true. I think plenty of people who complain are successful.
and also
I
that
know a lot of them.
part of the problem with conspiracy theorists is they're looking for the conspiracy. I mean, based on being lied to before, whatever. So it's easier to see them.
What?
What?
If you have gone down some
Oh,
conspiracy,
it's easier to see the conspiracy.
there's something more to it than that. Whereas
Gotcha.
if you believe what you've always believed, then that's always far fetched. Average house has 10,000 items in it.
That makes sense.
It's a lot of stuff we have.
10,000 items. Like different items? Is
mean-
that counting up like all the CDs you have, or is one?
Yeah, every CD
or
you
is
have
a
is an
CD
item.
one item?
Each CD is an item.
I mean, look around down here.
So
Like,
that's
look at that
I know,
desk.
but it's just so stupid. So like you have a pack of playing cards. That's 52 different items.
No, I would say
that
that's
should
one
be
item.
one
Well,
item.
If they were not in the pack, they're 52
Then
items.
all the CDs should be one item.
But Simon, look around. Every chord is a
carpet
chord.
light, yeah, a cord.
Okay, every piece of art is a piece of art. Like
radio.
yeah. I mean, I just think you get to 10,000 pretty quick if you own a home. Like you moved this year.
We have
like,
less than 10,000 things in our house right now. 100%.
Yeah, but you like purged a lot during the move, right? So that's different. If you had kept everything,
I don't need 600 cords.
We're all hoarders
I do,
to some
unfortunately.
degree because people
Fuck outta
have
here, asshole.
probably a house with 10,000 items and a storage locker with more items in it and a cottage.
I don't have
We just-
DVDs anymore.
okay.
We're
Did you
little.
have 10,000 of those?
I had a lot.
We're little collectors, and then Joe was sort of like, "Yeah, collectors are weird," because he was talking about baseball cards and whatnot. But I think Joe's got a little low key car collection on the go.
I don't find like collecting. I don't know. I don't see why he finds it that weird.
I love collecting.
And
It's
you
like
could
built
hobby.
into my
You could
fucking
also
DNA.
call it investing.
I think. Hold on.
If you're collecting your shit,
when we grew up,
but
it had nothing to do with investing. No one ever thought about investing. It was
Oh
just
no! I always thought I'd buy a comic book or a baseball card, and one day I'd retire on it.
You thought
I
that?
thought that.
I never in my
I
life.
wanted to have the best collection
was
because
me
that
too,
was
yeah.
clout. It had nothing to do with money. It's that I had more binders full of garbage pail cards than you did.
And when we were young, I don't remember anyone about in the box.
Of course, dude. That's the
What do you
weirdest
mean
thing to me.
in the box?
What he's saying is like I find this interesting too when you see a toy that was released when I was a kid and they're like, I have the whole collection in the box. In my head, I'm like, no one in the 80s was like, this will be worth more in the box. The foresight you have
You
to
sort
have.
of agreeing with me.
No,
Yeah, I
that's a
am.
collector who has it in
no,
the
but
box.
if
We
the
understand that.
highlight of my life was going to Toy City every 2 weeks
Open
or
that
whatever
bitch.
and getting a Star Wars figurine or a GI Joe, and never thinking about just
City.
because you play for it a half hour, then you're sort of done with it. But people now have stuff in the package. mint
Yeah, but
condition.
those aren't things from when they were kids. Not very many people didn't play with their toys. Those are people rebuying toys as adults.
And
I know what he's saying though is the fact that they're rebuying it in the packaging means someone somewhere kept that thing.
Or it was dead stock. A lot of that stuff just was
that's
from
where I was-
stores that got bought out in things that sat in warehouses.
That's what I was gonna
Most
say.
of those in boxes did not come from people. That's what I'm telling
Do
you.
you think that more people do that today, though?
Of course, everyone buys 2 of
100%.
everything.
We'll buy one. Just
Now
to-
they keep it in the box because they've
there has been a
seen the
change.
flip.
I feel like we're agreeing. This was the real juicy part about it.
Oh, he took the glasses
Whoa,
off.
put
That
the
means
back
he's
on.
fucking serious.
I can't.
Those beady little eyes, those beady little Jew eyes.
I can't. I think the meat and potatoes of this podcast when we started talking about casinos.
Yep.
And in Las Vegas, there's a casino that isn't for gambling. It's
That's
just
crazy. It's crazy. Just to
do
experiment.
everything to figure out. And it's not just casinos who are investing in this. It's casinos and big tech companies.
Of course.
Because
Because they're trying to gamify all their apps. So they want to know exactly what it is. Like Uber does that with their drivers.
well, those were his points. And it's just an easy way for some reason to see human behavior with gambling and our tendencies.
Real quick on Vegas, did either of you see the Sphere?
Yeah, I've watched some of the footage.
You didn't see it?
What footage?
U2 started playing their shows at the Sphere this week. Inside the Sphere.
No,
it's,
I didn't see it.
It's fucking insane. It is.
It's insane
it is-
watching it through someone's phone
It's the,
on the TV.
Simon, it is the craziest venue I have ever in my life laid eyes on.
It should be. We went
I know.
through how much it fucking cost.
I get it, but Simon-
more than the Burj Khalifa.
I get
Less
it.
than Parliament.
I get it, but
What?
yeah, our part is
Something.
there's $6 billion to renovate Parliament right now.
6 billion.
Yeah,
Zillion.
$6 billion
Wow.
to
Back
renovate
to the
Parliament.
Sphere. It looks like something in movies
100%.
where they made like
Yeah.
these stadiums will one day exist.
Dude, when the ceiling started coming down, I was like, "What in the fuck
So
am I
even-
watching
even
right
though it's
now?"
Will
round.
all sporting stadiums move to that model, you think?
I don't see how
It can't have enough people in there, right? How many people did we say it held? 30,000? 28,000?
Yeah, it's something like
Simon,
hockey.
I gotta be honest. The scale of this thing is like the video. Like someone had a video from way in the back, and like U2 is way the fuck down there, dude. I mean, like this. I'll show you a video after. This thing is fucking staggering. It's insane, Simon. What you were gonna say? The whole thing's a sphere. The optical illusion, like it really makes me. We're definitely in a simulation. At one point, the ceiling squares off, like visually, and then starts dropping. And it no
on
longer looks like a
you watch
sphere.
it through your phone, and you start saying, "Oh, it's going to crush us."
It no longer looks like a sphere at all. It looks like you're in a cube. It's
I could not imagine what it's actually like to be there and see it.
like you said, we're watching it through a phone, and it's fucking bananas. I cannot imagine what it looks like to be in there. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
And I don't love you too. They played the Mysterious Ways album and a couple other hits, so whatever.
U2 sucks.
I
They
like some of the
suck.
songs.
They have
No,
some good
no,
songs.
they have some good songs, but when
the
they
Streets Have No
put
Names.
that fucking album onto our phones without our permission,
It wasn't Apple that did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it
in
was a
cahoots.
U2
It's not like
album.
U2 found out like us.
they became instantaneously the biggest piece of shit band ever created.
I love how we all have
music.
128 gigabyte phones that could literally hold 50,000 songs.
I decide what goes on my phone, Matt. I decide what
No, you
goes
don't.
on
It
my
comes
phone.
stock with like 8 apps that you cannot delete.
Not music.
okay,
Matt.
okay, gotcha.
So that's the thing. Once
Sacred
some sort of
to some of
DJ or
us.
someone plays in there,
People
it'll be
who like
really
more
good.
than hip hop.
Because they're a little political, like some of this stuff.
Kamar, there are certain like massive house DJs that
It's gonna
could-
be crazy.
that could do like these
People will die.
Dude, these DJs already have crazy visuals at normal
Yes,
venues
this-
where you're
exact-
just like, what the fuck
that's-
am I
that's
watching?
exactly what
You
I'm
throw
saying.
them in there, it's gonna be fucking.
It's a game changer.
Did anybody watch Top Boy?
I watched the first season. I'm not up to date.
You know,
Mandem.
Mandem, yeah. You know, there's the two partners, Duchesne and what's his name?
Yeah.
The other guy,
Kano,
not
yeah.
Duchesne. Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knew he was,
Yeah.
I had no idea. I just found that out yesterday.
You saw
I
him on
watched
Shoals?
him on Shoals, yeah. It was a very interesting conversation when they were talking about,
Him really being about the streets.
no.
Okay.
No, I didn't see that part.
Okay.
No, I saw a clip where they were talking about music.
Yeah.
Like hip hop. I'm using air quotes here because it wasn't really hip hop music in England.
Yeah.
How they used to like copy kind of American stuff more.
Of course.
But it didn't make sense because they were listening to Nas and he was talking about Brooklyn and how could they relate. And then, you know, guys like, what's his name there we were talking about last week?
Trey the Truth.
No. The
American, British, what?
the
give me a
British
country at least.
rapper sings really fast about his girl being, how can I be gay if my girl is bisexual? You know that?
Central C.
Central C. Thank you. And just how it all changed and all the different variations that rap took to where it is now in the UK. Like garage was a thing.
Garage.
Sorry. Is it not garage?
No, it's garage.
Just being a stupid jerk.
It's the same thing though, right?
Yeah,
It's the same.
yeah. It's just how they pronounce
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then trippy or something like that. Trap. That's what it is
Trap,
now.
yeah.
Anyways, just a whole thing. But like in order for it to be trap, originally it had to be like a certain amount of bars. Anyways, just stuff you're probably not interested in because you don't love
I'm
music
not
the way I
interested.
do. But
Drop
I
the
really
knowledge
liked it.
like
Yeah.
Galileo dropped the orange.
Have either of you heard
Beastie Boys.
Have either of you heard Skepta's song?
You probably didn't know that.
Dude, Skepta has this song. I'm not joking. This is the chorus. Transvestites, men in disguise.
Shut up.
And
really.
I'm not and then he does a whole verse about it's
That's a play off of Transformers.
Thank you, Kamar. Yes, that's the whole
Who did you ask Kamar if he listened to last week? Oh, Mexican OT. Did you
that
ever listen
Mexican
to him?
OT, yeah.
Yeah,
Johnny
we
Dang.
played it right here. He's like the second coming of Uncle
Louis
Cracker.
Vuitton umbrella when I walk through the rain, kind of chicken better.
He's
so
fucking-
dope. He's
very
so
cool,
fucking
yeah,
sick,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
He's fly as fuck.
Yeah. And he's
He's like
hilarious.
a cowboy, dude. He's so good.
He's hilarious.
He's
What did I
hilarious.
watch him do this week? Oh, somebody got a tattoo of him on their leg and then he autographed the tattoo.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about the Sphere in the post show. No biggie. I've got other
I'm so
stories.
sorry. He just lets me step all over his shit.
The casino test ground caused him to. It's a behavior loop that can consists of opportunity, unpredictable rewards, and quick repeatability. And people generally play 16 games a minute where they just play on their slot machines, which scares me more because I don't know if you've ever been bored and pulled up the slot machine on your phone. It's one thing you have to leave your house, go to the casino, it's got to be open, but you can do it 24 hours a day. Like that could be a back door.
Well, and I barely trust that physical machine in front of me at the casino. There's no way I'm trusting that shit on my phone.
That's a godsend. Other people will just go down the thing because, like I said, at least you have to go to the casino physically do it. You can just do it on your couch, like bye-bye if you're an addict.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to my
I'm into
dad.
scratch cards. I don't do that shit.
I was trying to explain to my dad. He was like, so what? Like, he's like, I don't understand this online gambling. I was like, well, what don't you understand? Like, you can just go and play roulette. And he's like, well, how does that work? Like, it's just you at the table? How many tables do they have? And I was like, Dad, they need one roulette table and they can have 50,000 people at it. And he was like, what do you mean? I was
It's like software.
yeah. And then I was like, blackjack, you can play with a live dealer. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's a live person standing at a green screen dealing real cards. And he just couldn't. He
And
was
a
like,
million people are playing against that dealer. Why is this so hard to understand?
no, he was like, I don't understand.
I remember once upon a time when people were like, I'll never buy something online. Use my credit card.
I used to say that all the time.
And now Amazon packages are dropped off everywhere, eh?
It's funny. We grew up in a world where companies were like 10% discount if you pay cash. And now companies are like, we will not accept your cash. Go somewhere else. You know, it's like, what?
They're railroading us.
But in all fairness, like at the beginning of online shopping, let's say,
Yeah.
Security, whatever.
you would buy something, it wasn't what you wanted, it was no good. The returning process was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
You'd have to send it back to them and blah, blah. Now everybody just looks at it as a write-off, right? Like if you do business online, there's going to be this much waste.
Yeah.
And they don't ask for the thing back. It's just like
they
so
stop-
easy.
We adapt.
Simon, they stopped caring because their margins increase so much too, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just explaining.
Yeah,
that it's different.
But he said that the behavior loop does relate back to hunter-gatherer, which is interesting because I did a little research. The first slot machine in the modern sense was invented by Bavarian-born American inventor Charles August Fay, at the time a mechanic in San Francisco who built his first coin-operated gambling machine in 1894.
Wow.
such a weird thing to think of, because I guess would they be doing 3-card Monte and just
No, I think
general
I think
poker?
it makes total sense. He was watching like these live games making all this money, and he was like, how can we do this and we don't have to pay a dealer or whatever, you know? Like,
Kamar, the only slots I like buying the bonus. I'll do that once in a while if I'm up a
Because it
bunch.
just, yeah, you said and it goes ding, 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 and then all
Yeah,
the
it just
features
gives you
open
it
up.
just gives you the bonus. So you can pay
you
like
can do that?
10 free spins. But it costs more.
Not here, you can't.
no. What I'm saying is online. Like you can go
Oh,
into
online,
FanDuel. You can go into
gotcha.
FanDuel and you can pick a not all the slot machines have it, but you can go in and say, I want a 20-cent like bonus buy, and it'll cost you $20. You can say I want a 40-cent. It costs
Yeah,
you
yeah,
$40,
gotcha.
and then you
And
get
then you're
10.
just playing the
You get the
bonus.
10 bonus spins. Yeah.
So that should just tell you that those bonus spins are bullshit. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell them.
You fool
to
yourself,
you,
though.
You know?
Because just the feature.
Yeah, no,
opening
I
up,
get it.
it's
Listen,
exciting.
I like playing slots. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all those things he says about the release. There's a bit of a pushback with the gambling pigeons. I think it was just, you'll do whatever you want for food.
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah, I was kind of with Joe where I was like, I don't know if that's gambling.
What was that? I forget that part.
They had some experiment that they used pigeons for that he was like, this shows that, but it didn't.
Other animals do this game of chance gambling.
Yeah, but what was it? You don't remember?
If the pigeon did one thing, it got food every 2 seconds. If it did the other thing, it got 10 pellets.
Oh
every
yeah,
5
I felt
seconds
like
or
Joe
something.
wasn't understanding the experiment.
Well,
No, I felt
feel
like Joe
we
was.
agree
I
and
agreed.
you
I agreed with
think
Joe
was
that
gambling.
to me it wasn't. Gambling is a very specific thing. Like I don't know that animals understand.
He was willing to take the chance on the irregular amount of stuff coming out.
I've changed my mind.
Than the pecking it every time and getting it every time. That is gambling. That
It's
is
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it
you are
isn't.
taking a chance. Gambling. Period.
Taking a chance. It's not gambling. Listen, if you decide I'm going to take a job in Texas, I'm going to move my family there. That's not necessary. Is that a gamble to you?
Yes. Yeah, anytime you're taking a chance, unless you look at gambling as literally playing the odds, meaning you're taking that into account.
No, I look at gambling as you put your money on an outcome.
So forget money for a second because
Okay.
we're substituting money for something else equally as important. You are taking a chance.
No, because that's like if you have two women that are both interested you're saying that the one you choose that you're gambling by. I just disagree with that. I mean, Kamar, you have to weigh in
well,
here
I
at some
think
point.
I think you are. I think
I thought
you're
that he was just
agreeing.
doing it for food. Like it's
Like Simon, this is my thing. In gambling,
a survival, not a gambling.
like if I'm gonna risk $5, but I'm gonna get either $5 or $15, there's no gamble there because I'm still getting something no matter what.
Well, it is a gamble still to get more money.
Yeah, but my point is, if there's nothing to lose, is it gambling? Like, let me ask you this: if I give you $1,000 right now, and I'm like, go to the casino, and if you lose the 1,000, you don't owe me anything, and
It's
everything
still-
you win,
it's
you get
still
to keep.
It's still gambling. It's still gambling.
I mean, it is in the sense that you're.
It's a different kind of gambling. You're gambling for only profit, not for loss, but it's still gambling. Anywho.
That was a terrible example.
Yeah,
but
it
either
was.
way.
It was a really bad example.
Well, no, because you're still in the whatever.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
yeah.
Should there be a manual on how to exist?
No,
I mean, I guess that it's the Bible.
Isn't it interesting that it's called a manual?
She a person you will.
No, I think we should stick with manual.
Oh, yeah,
but
you do.
like the thing
Vayual?
that knows everything about everything is a manual.
It can never happen because we'll never have a consensus. Someone will say be vegetarian, someone will say eat meat, someone will say go to school, someone will say get a job.
Well, isn't that?
Well, that's because-
you said it right. Bibles. That's what religious texts are. They're just manuals for day-to-day living.
basic
but-
thing.
And if you buy into that religion, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. But I was just going to say, but even if you took every Christian that's ever lived, I don't think you could pinpoint one and say they did it the right way, perfect. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if you said the Bible is a manual, no one's like, what is living it perfectly? And you don't know because
There's
like,
no consensus on that.
well, that's my point.
Well, that is the consensus.
What is?
The Bible.
No, but it's still what we're saying though is like you could live what you think is a pure biblical life.
Yeah.
And Kamar could live what he thinks is a pure biblical life, and you could both look at each other and go, well, he's not doing it right.
For sure. What I'm saying though is if we belong to the same religion, we're all agreeing that we're living by the same manual. The other people aren't important. they're not part of our sect. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like in the olden days, you didn't give a fuck about people who lived a million miles away because they didn't have any impact on you. You just cared about the people who followed the same rule set you followed. And if they didn't follow the same rule set you followed, you probably went to war with them.
Yeah, you kill them.
But they should die, right? Like they don't believe the shit you believe.
Thank
Kill
God
them
we,
all.
we've come a long way.
I know. I think we should do that now too.
Numbers only 10,000 years old.
Numbers.
This is what he claimed.
That's not true at all.
It cannot be, right?
Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Why can that not be true? First of all, you said civilization is only 10,000 years old
Well, yeah,
10 minutes ago.
This
so
modern civilization, starting 10,000 years ago, that would have been when numbers would have been, the first time numbers would have been.
not true, because you argued that there were smarter people before us. So then
For
100%
sure,
they would have had numbers.
We just don't have proof of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Or what if it's numbers that are holding us back?
We can only find texts to support up to.
Yes.
Like I think the
I would agree with
oldest
you.
are
Sumerian.
the sea tablets there. What the fuck are those called? The
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Dead Sea Scrolls, thank you. But the Sumerian tablets too had some sort of math on there, so they had numbers too. But it is interesting to think that like everything we know about.
Well, without language, you
And
can't have
more
without
of
language.
something.
Listen, there's always numbers. Without language, though, you can't. Like if you don't have a language, you're just a caveman. Like there's still 3 rocks in front of you. You might call it something else. You could make up a different word. Like in French, it's trois. You know what I mean? So
You're always going to have to count. is
there's
what you're
always a
saying.
number of things that are
I agree.
quantifiable in that way. So
Right.
to say that numbers didn't exist, I understand the statement. It is true, but
Yeah, I mean that would like be insinuating that like Neanderthals weren't able to count, and that is insane. Like they're finding out now that Neanderthals, Denisovans, all these ancient species of human were probably way smarter than we gave them credit for.
I mean, even think about it on a basic level. Okay, you and I have no verbal communication skills whatsoever. Okay, there's no language. We're just bumping into the fucking rocks out there. But we're building a home. Okay, we're building a shelter. I need 3 rocks. I can look at you and go,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Again, we don't have a name for that. But then
And
you
you could just make 3 noises. Yeah. Yeah, but the numbers as we know them, written out.
yeah, the one,
digits.
calling it 1 or 2 or yeah.
And I'm
What
not
do you
even
call it?
sure that every society uses.
Yeah,
the
he said
same
there were some
number
tribes that
scheme,
don't
yeah.
count. Which we just impossible to grasp because we're indoctrinated with
Again, they're not counting with numbers.
Numerology.
They still count, like Matt and I were saying.
Yeah, like they know, like again,
They know that they
if you have a
have
village, you have
3
40 people, you need to know that there's 40 of you to do roll call
That
and a
guy
head
caught
count.
3 fish, you know.
Yeah, we
whatever
need
it
8
was.
fish to
Yeah.
sustain the village. Yeah, there's still like I don't know.
We had 3 kids, now we only have 2.
You need to wake up and go, hold on.
And there's one giant crocodile outside the house.
Yes.
Belly full.
Belly full.
They talked about the guy who's the right place at the right time. He just started making a rating system for wine. They
Yeah,
got
we've talked
adopted.
about this guy a million
the
times.
wine
well, no, he was
scam.
no, he
The
was
scammer.
No, he was talking about
Oh.
the scammer. What
He-
Kamar's
he
saying is
got into the scammer, but originally
the first guy was just he was like, I need people need a way to judge wine, so I'm going to create a scale.
Yeah, I remember. That's actually kind of cool. That
course it
the
is.
but then it just got bastardized into something terrible now. So
Well, it
is
didn't get-
that cool?
It didn't get
it's like
bastardized.
a show that
Well, it
reviews
did.
podcasts.
It became all like hoity-toity.
No, his point was that the problem was it was for this guy's palate specifically because he created the rating system. So the problem was like this wine might be a 10, but this guy's palate didn't enjoy the wine. So you, who has a different palate, you might try that wine and go, "Oh, bro, he gave
I
this
mean,
a
wouldn't
6."
that be the case with all wine?
But that was the problem. Is he said this is like before they had a
Subjective.
No, but I mean for all rating of wine, like you
could say it for anything,
it's
though.
the best wine. Yeah, I guess. But I mean,
like some people like a well done steak. That's insane, but some
It's-
people do.
yeah, okay.
But you agree, right? Like I don't know.
I mean, I do and I don't. Like chocolate, everybody agrees that, or most people
Baker's
agree
chocolate
that
is trash.
Chocolate is good.
Yeah,
You won't get the same thing on wine, right? Like,
yeah.
it's just way less people who enjoy it in the first place, and then of those people, the amount that like a wine that tastes shitty.
But even then, you could use the same thing with chocolate. Like dark chocolate is a taste that is, and the same thing where like if you had pure chocolate, like not milk chocolate that we're used to in North America, but like,
I mean, wine's a different one because wine, even the best tasting wine is like not great.
yeah.
It's kind of like beer. Like you develop a taste for beer, like they said. And there are some good beers out there, but it's not like a good tasting drink. It's nice to have on a hot day. You can acquire a taste for it, but anything you got to acquire
People
a taste
acquire a taste for the drunk.
You acquire a taste for things that you don't really like, you know? That's the whole idea of acquiring a taste for it. If not, you would just like it right away.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I don't, like to say like, oh, well, cheese is an acquired taste. Like that, just because you had to acquire the taste doesn't mean you don't love the taste of cheese after that, right? Like you were saying, no one likes the taste of beer. I definitely know people that enjoy having one or two beers at like a craft.
Yeah, I
brewery
think
and-
it's a taste that they acquired a taste for. Most people who drank beer drank it at the beginning to get drunk.
I fully agree with that. Yeah. I mean, also there wasn't clean water, so you didn't have a lot of options.
No, I just mean not like in the beginning
Okay,
of time.
you're-
Like
okay,
us,
yeah,
when we
gotcha.
started
Yeah, yeah,
drinking,
yeah.
you started with beer.
Yeah.
You didn't do that because you thought beer tasted amazing. You did that because you wanted to get drunk.
It was also access.
Sure. Again, it wasn't for the taste.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kamar. We got to move on.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit left in here, but
I don't know how that's possible.
they got into income and happiness are not related. We
Who's
always-
next? Who's next?
Yeah, that's-
who's
that's
next. Let me ask you
useless.
that.
We always scoff about that and say Eddie Bravo's next.
Well, that was mostly fight talk.
Handcuffs
It
on.
was
So
mostly.
you can give this guy another 10 or 15 if you
So
want.
they got into income versus happiness, and he said these monks that he visited just like work all day and all night, and they have no money or anything, and they're ecstatic. Purpose is what gives us happiness. I think everyone can relate to that.
Again, that's really subjective. Purpose gives us happiness. I think
If you're doing
everybody's
nothing
different.
because you have nothing to do, it's not as fun
If
as
I was super
when you have
rich-
lots to do and you get to do nothing.
I'm not sure that's true. Like I'm a guy who does a lot, and if I didn't have to do so much, I think I would be happier.
You got to find out.
Well, I mean, like, listen, if right now you filled my bank account with an unlimited amount of money to where I don't have to worry about the future anymore, I fill my day doing all the shit I want to do, all the fun stuff.
As long
But I
as-
don't.
And I wouldn't feel guilty about it. Like that's the only reason that I
can't do what I want to do because I don't have the money to do what I want to do. So I guess that's the same thing.
yeah.
You can't see people's mood. I mean, someone can tell you they're happy, but you don't know.
I think you can see my mood most of the time. I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, but you've been happy, and I thought you were in a bad mood. So you
I
can't
don't think
see
that's ever happened.
all this to say. This is where Joe came out of the closet, said he's been too
gay?
negative, and he wants to be more fair and more positive. I think this is an ongoing trend, especially we see it in the next episode.
Well, let's
just- but
let's see if he holds that for Joe Biden, because I doubt that's going to happen.
That would be very
Right?
interesting.
Like
Yep.
if he stops insulting Joe Biden, then we'll know that
That'll be
really
the
is
turn.
changing. Yeah.
Look, I push back. I don't find Joe negative at all. I find that when he smells bullshit or he thinks that someone is lying or trying to wrong someone else, he calls it out, and that's why people listen to his show. I don't find Joe negative at all.
But I say he wants it. Whatever he's checking himself to, if he's teared anyone down, to stop doing that. And creating positive experiences is like that pay it forward. If you buy the person in front of your line coffee,
Behind you.
sorry, it's something like that. Just making the world a better place every opportunity you get. Because I don't know if you've ever been around someone who's overly negative, and it's just like, get me away from this. Unless they're really funny. There's that cynical. And then they talked about addiction.
But don't overly positive people kind of make you sick too?
Overly anything, anybody.
Like when
is kind
Kamar-
of turned off.
When
said
I meet
addiction
someone-
in moderation, so yeah, but
When I meet someone who is just like beyond positive for no good reason, I'm kind of like, come on, what's really going on here?
yeah, it could be a front, but I'd rather be around that person than the negative person.
I agree, for sure.
At least the negative person is being honest with you.
But have you ever seen someone just if you can talk to them for a bit, change their perspective? and all of a sudden just not be as upset. And it was there all along, like Dumbo in the wings. That makes sense. They're down. He said, yeah, I guess it's not that bad. And then they're in better mood. Like you can just change with a perspective. Captagon, never heard of it. It's weird that there's smuggling drugs all over the world. We're not the only place problem. Captagon was a drug that they were smuggling through Iraq or Syria in sheep guts.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a speed. His
What makes you think we're the only ones smuggling drugs? Drugs are smuggled into every...
You only hear about it here.
Well, because we're here.
We're victims of our news, but it's like there's drug problem all over the world. It just seems like the fentanyl problem in Canada and America is...
Some of the biggest drug smuggling rings are in Europe. Outside of the cartel. Obviously, the cartel is the biggest, but...
It's weird when a place has a drug you've never heard of, though. You know what I mean? Like, oh, in Guatemala, they use crank. And you're like, what is that? Speed? And like, no, it's a new drug.
Yeah, what's that? What there was that one in Russia, crocodile, that was like making people...
Eating people's flesh. Yeah.
Crocodile?
It was
what?
terrible.
Eating people's what?
Yeah, it turned their skin into like reptilian. It was
And
gross.
for a second, you're like, I wonder what it feels like to put through that.
But it's like, remember bath salts?
Yeah.
Like
But
you
they weren't
heard
bath
that.
salts.
I know. You heard this one story about
the
this
face
guy
getting
who
eaten,
ate the face and he took bath salts. And meanwhile,
It was
he
meth.
didn't even take bath salts. He took meth, yeah.
But they don't explain that
And
part.
bath salts are amazing. And they
Like we
just got
said.
this bad rap. No, I don't know. Are bath salts even a thing?
I don't know.
And were they really bath salts?
No, they're methamphetamines that have just one thing changed and they sell them as bath salts at a gas station.
I see. Gotcha.
I believe that's what it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because
And
you
we're
can
just doing the headlines.
you can skirt the legality if you change the
it's
chemical
like Delta
composition.
9.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Or
The guy,
8. Delta 8. 9.
Mr. Easter pours out a soul about how alcohol was through his life. And Joe's like, just a second, I got to pee.
Oh, Joe peed more this week than he ever has in his life.
And he was saying what you should try to do, because the addiction is in everyone, as demonstrated at the casino in these situations. It's just in our DNA, is try to get addicted to excellence, try to get addicted to something good. This is the advice. You don't have to shake your head.
We forgot to mention last week that with Joe with Tay the Truth, is that his name?
Trey the truth.
Trey
Yeah.
the Truth, Tay the Truth, whatever his name is.
It's Trey.
Where Joe was like, how do you sing with your grill in? Because I'm wearing this Invisalign and I'm just the whitest dude ever. And I like, it was so ridiculous. I don't know how he compares this Invisalign to these fucking gold grills.
I didn't want to bring that up to be disparaging, but I don't get the grill. I mean, I guess if I was young and want to be flashy.
No, I don't get the grill either. But do you see what I'm saying?
just a
like,
flex.
It's just such a weird.
I think he was trying to break bread.
Well, even weirder. I'm the whitest dude ever. Here's a really terrible question. Like,
People aren't going to like this, but I think it's ridiculous, period, that you hear a lot of black people talk about slavery, and it's like, you're covered in gold and diamonds. How do you think that came to be? Do you think those minerals fell out of the earth? No, it's all slaves
well,
over
what do
there.
you mean? They should be able to enjoy the labors of their ancestors more than you should be able to.
I'm just saying.
Well, I think you're wrong.
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think anyone should wear diamonds. Fuck that shit.
It's funny to me that diamonds only became popular because of,
De Beers.
all through a scam. That's insane.
But they're still running.
Like, but diamonds are the strongest,
Yeah.
right? Besides titanium. So that does make sense that they would
diamonds are the
retain
strongest.
some.
Period.
Okay. They would retain a massive amount of value. Like gold was very valuable because it was so malleable that you could do so much with it, right?
Yep.
But scarcity has to be some of it.
No, there's no scarcity of diamonds whatsoever.
Or gold.
What do you mean there's no scarcity of
De
diamonds?
Beers has created the scarcity of diamonds. There's diamond mines all over the fucking world.
More diamonds than we need, probably.
They have a fucking surplus of diamonds in a vault that they keep scarce to push up the price of diamonds. Yes. De Beers is the worst.
De Beers does sound like the worst.
Simon, for the record, Baltimore is fucking crushing.
Yeah,
and then the other team that I said we should have picked are crushing. And the fucking Eagles are about to fuck us. Week 2.
Yeah, it's true. Joe expressed reverence for amateur wrestling, like we talked about last week with Kurt Angle. And just how you're saying with wine, people have different palates. Other people need either a pat in the back or a kick in the ass. Not every approach to motivating someone to get something done is the same.
Sometimes they need both.
And then Mr. Easter, really just talked to Joe about his workout. So it was more of a workout interview. Get in shape. Our evil nature can be related to the chimps fighting chimps.
Our evil nature.
Our warring, our fighting, our like it's something we probably have to resign ourselves that we'll never rid ourselves of. And get off of sugar. Eat real food.
Yeah, we don't need to go there.
You know, it really devolved. But I thought that the most interesting part about this podcast was the human nature, the slot machines, and now it's in social media and everything.
We should have ended it there.
Got to figure out how to exploit that on someone else and make our own wine rating system.
I give it a 3.5.
I give it a 5. It was an amazing show.
What?
Let him
If
go.
he gives
Who
it a
cares?
5, then I give it a 0.2 just to balance out the scales.
Well, that's ridiculous. Why don't you just rate it for real and then let him do what he wants?
This one gets a 2.
I was just really happy
Very
that I
generous,
thought it was
too.
going to be a hunter. I thought it was going to be all hunting, and they actually touched on some fun stuff. First time guest. I didn't mind it. I liked it.
100%. I thought it was going to be health and wellness and all this. And
We've had
peptides.
such shitty guests that you guys.
No,
get
I disagree.
Like a
That's
quite
semi
possible.
not shitty.
I
guest,
didn't give
and
it a
it's like
5.
a 5.
Hold on. I gave it a
When
3.
you're right, Simon.
I gave it a slightly better than average score. Well, you're mad at me for that? I
No,
thought
no.
it was.
But then you gave it all these flowers.
I'm trying to
No.
put positivity out there.
Oh, sorry. Right. I see. That's why all the 5s. I get it.
Nancy negative over here.
Well, we're doing
the
a show
Texans.
based on realism. It's hard to just fucking 5 everything, you know?
Okay, Kamar, next guest.
2040, Eddie Bravo.
Should have been the best episode of the week, and instead,
Joe's put the reins on him.
Joe handcuffed him with
For sure,
fight talk.
for sure. There's no, hey, Eddie, I love you. You're my best friend. None of the crazy talk.
I
No
disagree.
flat earth. No. Because at the very end of this, he goes, follow me on my podcast. That's where I talk about the conspiracy things. They touch on some things, but not like Eddie used to go deep.
Well,
I feel
let's
like it's
only
Eddie doing
touch
it.
on
I don't
the
think it's
things
Joe.
that they touched on.
I think it's Eddie. I think Eddie himself was just like, I have a podcast to talk about this. I'm here. I'll talk about what Joe wants.
They do love talking about fighting, and that's
Yeah.
all they talked about. This should have been.
I
an
think
MMA.
Joe handcuffed him not by saying to Eddie, let's not talk about conspiracies. I think he handcuffed him by dictating the conversation only being about fighting.
Well, here's the worst part. We start off by finding out that Eddie is a huge football fan.
Browns.
And they actually talk about football, which I was like, holy shit. I've listened to 2,000 episodes and I've never heard 5 minutes of football
I knew
talk.
this already because Eddie had gone on a huge diatribe on Sam's show about how
Gotcha.
much he loves Cleveland.
Either way, I started by being like, oh my God, this could be incredible. And then after that 20 minutes, it was all fight talk.
Joe went to a game, liked it. It was sort of weird hearing
think he
them
was in a
talk
box?
about
He was
yeah,
in a
for
box.
sure.
Of course, he was in a box, obviously.
The Nick Chubb hit, football breakdown, violence on social media. Is that more important than swearing? I think YouTube's all right, but Joe's like saying, I've never seen more people die.
Yeah, there
on
is
Instagram and
way
stuff.
more things that they should be worried about than swearing. How about like the porn?
Violence or porn equally as destructive.
I think they're both not great for kids to see when they're scrolling through YouTube.
But
I
you
just
fe-
can't believe that we got away from this puritanical, like you can't swear on television because someone might hear it. And we got away from that for a while with YouTube where they were like, yeah, you can just do what you want here. There's advertisers. And then advertised apocalypse came along. And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, if you say fuck, you better edit that out. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't say fuck anymore? Who gives a shit?
What's worse is we were in our prime at that time. Do you remember like seeing obtuse articles about like YouTubers making money, like, and not even understanding it? I remember, and I think that's what drew me to it. Tires flying off vehicles, always wild.
Oh, dude, I've seen so many fucking
Some of
people
those
get
videos
absolutely
just
murdered by a
murked
runaway
by-
truck
yeah,
tire. Like,
crazy.
fucking killed.
And that's only because of almost every car has a dash cam or whatnot.
No, a lot of the ones I've seen are CCTV, so it'll be like outside
Security
of a building.
cam,
yeah, the
yeah.
security cam outside the building catches
he's
a wheel.
talking
Like,
about when it happens on the road.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
the
yeah.
truck's coming this way, you're going this way, you just get murked by a tire. Boom. You don't even know what happened. Like you
boom.
figure that out from heaven.
Scary stuff. You need Elon's truck.
You do need Elon's truck for that, man.
It's hardened steel.
They talked about how drugs is ridiculous. People getting busted for weed. In particular, Willie Nelson and Tommy Chong. And did you know the story about Tommy Chong and Wolf of Wall Street?
Jordan Belfort.
So they were cellmates or in the same
Oh
prison
yeah, yeah,
together.
yeah.
think I
That's
did
right.
know
He
this.
told the whole story on Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Chong did. That's where you heard it.
But that is the real interesting part of him getting busted, taking the fall for his family, goes to prison of the Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street writes his thing. He goes, "That's dog shit."
Yeah.
Puts it together, and we get this great movie with Scorsese.
It's so crazy though that Chong had to go to prison.
It's insane.
For selling bongs.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's so nuts.
It was Florida too, eh?
I'm really
And
sorry
free.
too. That just shows you the U.S. government how fucking shitty they. And we're the same. Our government's equally the same. We do shitty things, but like, you don't need like the whole idea. Like, we're gonna go after your family too, unless you take the full sentence. Like, dude, go get fucked. Mark Emery, same thing. He was selling seeds. The DEA extradited him to the state so that he could do like fucking 7 years in prison. This is the guy that gave us Sundays off. Just for the record.
Progress is a slow
Who,
evolution.
Mark Emery did?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because he lived in Ontario.
What do you mean gave us Sundays off? What does that mean?
What I mean is, sorry, not Sundays off. What I mean is the reason things are open on Sundays, it started in Ontario, in Canada,
Okay.
because of him. He lobbied and was like, it's ridiculous that we're not a religious state.
Yeah, no.
So there's
it
no
is-
reason.
It is crazy. I forgot things used to be closed on Sundays.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything. Nothing was open on Sunday. And Mark Emery was living in Ontario at the time, and he fought for things to be open
So
Sunday.
that was only Ontario that was like that?
It
Not the
started
rest
that
of
way.
the-
It started in
of
Ontario,
Canada?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
No, but the rest of the Canada,
No, they were closed on Sundays
they
too.
were closed
Yeah.
on Sundays. Like I know in Halifax, things are still closed on Sundays.
What a stupid way to live.
Remember? Oh, you weren't there.
I remember you had to withdraw your money on Friday by like 4:30.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, the bank was nuts.
wait until the Monday. Is Japan the model society? Do we owe it to ourselves to see, like
No, they're crumbling.
they're crumbling because of age?
According to who?
But they were saying more. It's everyone's peaceful, everything's orderly, like everything's tight.
And like
right.
we've talked about Japan before, like there's zero homelessness because everybody gets given a job by the government.
But it's not a dictatorship like China or something like that.
No.
But Simon, the problem, it's one thing to just say the government gives everyone a job and there's no homelessness. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you implemented that here, like if you went to the market right now and you said to every homeless person, look, we're going to give you a job sweeping up the street. What percentage of them do you think spend the day?
No. Agreed. Because they have a totally different viewpoint of living it. Like they were saying, everything there is done to the best a person can do it. That gives them satisfaction.
Yeah.
And they got away from military.
Which is cool because remember I was telling you about this is like way back. I told you I watched that show on Netflix. It was called like Tokyo After Dark or something. It wasn't Tokyo, but it was somewhere.
Yeah.
And they were going through Japan and they show you like these different bars and how each bartender, like there'll only be one bartender maybe in the bar. It's a tiny little place, but he like spends 25 minutes making you your drink. It's like everything is taken. What do they
best.
call that? There's a word for it, right?
Not wabi sabi.
No, it's kariatsu or something.
Bukkake.
Yeah, that's it. Kamar. Bukkake.
Do you know what bukkake means?
Yes,
It's not sexual.
it is sexual.
No, yeah. It's if a woman was caught cheating, they would take her up to a cave and all the men in the town would
Come on her. And then some dude had to eat all the cum off her.
She was the cookie. She was the
last guy
cookie.
to come, yeah.
Guess what, Kamar? I don't care if it's right or if you believe
sorry.
it.
Perfect.
I had never heard this whole cave thing, but I'll go with it.
I hope I'm wrong. I love malinformation.
They did talk about fighting, especially Joe wants perfect world, no cage, no gloves, just go.
Sounds like Joe wants street fights.
Yeah. Here's the one problem with this is normally, like, you watch the UFC, I watch the UFC, Kamar watches a little bit of the UFC. This was like the deepest fight talk ever. Like they were talking about deep Muay Thai, deep
Yeah, this was
kickboxing. Like you
boring.
had to really like just if one of our listeners was like, I might go back and listen to this one, you better be really deep into fighting.
Is a 16-man tournament
You can't
awesome.
do it. No.
It can't be done because you could say to injury, winning a fight, and you couldn't go on to be fairly.
It could
in the next
totally
round.
be done. The fighters are just pussies.
No. They're forgetting that those first couple of UFCs that happened all the time. Kamar, a guy would
Especially if it's bare knuckles.
a guy in the first fight would win the fight, but his ankle was fucked, and it's like, how are you going to fight 3 more times tonight? I don't know.
It still could be a draw. I was gonna put this into post Joe, but I'm thinking we're gonna get so crazy that'll be like 10 kids versus an adult.
Well, that's the end of the society for sure.
Yeah, that look for that. Talked about
They've definitely done that in Russia already.
yes. Well, they have phone booth fighting there. They talked about Mark Kerr.
They have seatbelt fighting there, which to me is the craziest.
The
one.
promoter definitely wants there to be violence in there, like stuff to happen there. Oh my God, he broke his arm or whatever. Whereas I don't think all the other sports, none of the commissioners want anyone to get hurt.
Khabib jumping out of the ring to try and get Dylan Dennis was the best thing that could ever have happened to the UFC.
I don't know.
They
Dana
got
would
so
disagree.
much,
Yes.
eyes on the sport that never saw it before.
And
They were like, "This is wild. I'm going to watch
Do you
this."
remember when Connor smashed up a bus and stuff? Just
That was
ridiculous.
right after that.
That was WWE as a
No,
Oh no,
This is
before
before.
that. Sorry,
That's
before
how the
that.
whole thing came to a head.
And somebody got hurt on that bus. Eh?
Rose and Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, right.
or someone got really hurt. Like
No, Michael Chiesa got cut up and he couldn't fight his fight.
should they have a pool chemical for pee?
Well,
You don't
doesn't-
want to know when somebody peed in the pool?
I mean, the amount of chlorine in the pool is supposed to not matter that if someone pees in it.
Well, I
'Cause the
think-
dilution.
Still fucking
I think
gross.
we know piss is harmless.
I didn't say it's not gross. What I said was if you're in a massive pool and I piss, it's so diluted and there's so much chlorine that I'm not saying it's not gross.
I
but
mean, listen, pools are disgusting anyways. People are like flaking their skin in there. It's gross. If you go into a pool, you're a dirty motherfucker anyways. So
Public pool. Period.
don't worry if anybody's pissing in there or not.
You haven't swam in a public pool in 30 years, sort of thing.
I mean, probably 40 years.
listen, Mary and I last year went to Nordique Spa. For listeners, we have the biggest outdoor spa in North America in Ottawa.
Humble brag.
Full of cum.
Dude, we're in the infinity pool and there's like 40 people in the infinity pool and 2 of them are fucking.
It's so disgusting.
That's uncouth.
Like, dude, I mean, she's riding him and everyone in the pool is watching them. Simon, this will fuck you up.
Does she have her top on?
Finally, security comes over and Mary and I
color
are
is her
like,
hair?
about fucking time. The guy taps the guy on the shoulder. He's like, you guys can't be fucking in here. And then walks away.
That's it?
I was like,
they
are
didn't
you-
get booted out?
I was like, dude, if I knew I could just be fucking in here, I would have been doing
I
this the
still
whole time.
wouldn't fuck in there.
Nah, fuck it, I
So
would.
gross.
It's kind
Not in the pool, but you know.
It's day class A. Then they talked about the fluoride, which almost got Eddie going. But still,
Almost, yeah.
Didn't even mention the Nazis. It was so weird.
kept the cuffs on him.
Hey, isn't that weird? They talk about fluoride and Eddie doesn't mention the Nazis.
The cuffs are on. And I
Was this even Eddie? It was a guy with a beard.
Was
I'm not
this
sure.
Even Eddie?
yeah, it looked like more of a retired Eddie. Joe's still trying to fix his sleep apnea, which means the surgery didn't work. Yeah. Hassa. I think it's because he's so built and has so much muscles. That's why he snores. Then they talked just briefly about Russia. Hey, I'm sure Putin's a bad guy. I'm not trying to defend him. I just don't want anyone to die. I'll leave it at that. But Roy Jones Jr. is like Russian.
He has dual citizenship, I think.
Can't be mad at that. Like, they can't be that bad. Maybe the government's that bad, but Russians are just like us. There's shitty ones, there's good ones.
Well, no, what I was just going to say to you is it's crazy for you to assume that all governments are shit. Name a world government right now that you're like, man, they're nailing
We'll talk
it.
about the post but
Fuck
ours
outta
in
here.
the deep shit right now.
Oh, our government is the worst of all of them. Like,
You've never been to California, obviously.
I have.
No, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I was
You-
pointing
well,
the
you
same
have-
time. You've
yeah.
never been. You have been.
Yeah.
I've never been. Apparently, it's the weather.
No, not
What's
apparently.
the
It's
weather?
definitely the
The
weather.
weather's just perfect there all
Oh,
year
that's
round.
why everybody wants to go there.
Well, that's why Eddie was saying he's still there.
Did you see New York get the flash flood this week?
I did, but I saw a video by Casey and Neistat said it's not like there were places that got flooded and there were places where not. He said the media sort of made it seem a little more dramatic than it was.
I mean, even places that did get flooded, that's still something, no?
It was just people walking through the subway while water was gushing down. Like you'd think they would not be
An
there.
obscene amount of water was coming through.
I was
there.
going to talk about it in the post show, but did it get rid of some rats?
No, they just move.
They just float up, eh?
And they love water, man.
A nice
They
bath.
survive apocalypses.
Do you remember when the hurricane hit New York and there was photos?
That was a
there
real
was photos of water like all the way up the stairs of the subway
Yeah,
stops.
that was-
as in like, oh, dude,
That
so
was
gross.
way worse, that one.
And then just crocodiles coming out of the...
Just feeding on rats. Imagine those
Yeah.
crocodiles would be the fattest ever.
I thought it was an interesting point because it's after the fact. Joe talked about some looting at the Topanga Mall right by my old studio, which would be the first time that he sort of landmarked. Now, he's not there anymore, so it doesn't matter, but that's way in the north of California, if I remember, like far away from Los Angeles proper, I guess.
I mean, dude, it's getting bad out there.
Well, it must have been
It's-
close to his house or something, right?
No, he said it was close to the old
No,
studio.
it was nowhere. I don't. Well,
His
actually, I don't
old
know where
studio was close to nothing. He just drove halfway across Los Angeles for zero reason.
Yeah, I think he
Not
lives in
zero
Malibu.
reason. It's the space. It's not like LA's not just full of.
I mean, he's
Usable
Joe
warehouse space.
Rogan, though. Like, it couldn't have been hard for him to get a warehouse close to his place. Look, getting around Los Angeles is impossible, no?
No, if you have to get on the highway, it is. But like if you have to drive through the city 25 minutes, 20. I mean, he didn't live close to the store either.
No, he didn't live close to the store.
My point is just like what you're talking about is going from like Long Beach to LA. That's a drive that should take you like Canada to Centertown, but it takes 2.5 hours.
Anyway, okay.
That's probably another reason why he would book so many podcasts. Like he's not like, well, there's no point just coming here to do one, do them all, I'll wait for traffic. Like I got nowhere to be. Maybe. And maybe it's close to the comedy store. I don't know. I'm talking my ass. I should have done the research. Damn it, Kamar.
Either way, dude, these young kids looting shit right now, it's fucking no joke.
But it seems like it's always tied to a wrongful death or something like, oh, that happened.
No, not
No,
anymore.
no.
Now it's just they don't charge over $1,000. We will steal up to $800, $900.
No, because it's happening. No, I'm not. Dude, in Philly this weekend. Philly
swarming.
does not have that law. Philadelphia is not California. Philadelphia will still fucking arrest you for shoplifting. And the key is this, Simon. If there's 40 of you ransacking a store,
Yeah.
they might catch 1 or 2 of you,
Yeah.
but the rest of you are probably going to get away. It's scary. Dude.
It's like running away from a bear. I just have to be able to outrun you.
And then you have Trump out there being like, if you steal from a store, you will be shot in the back on your way out.
That's what he said?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're a store owner and you're like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't understand how anybody does business when that's the case. Like when you don't have the police there to stop you from getting robbed.
Did you ever see the clip of that old guy who shot the pregnant girl in the back?
Yeah, that is an insane fucking video, dude.
nuts.
And he's like,
He's amped.
and then
She
I
didn't
went
run-
in,
she
I
didn't run
got
as
my
fast as the
gun,
man.
I ran out, I shot her in the back. I don't feel, oh no, she yelled, don't shoot me, I'm pregnant. I shot her, killed her, and I don't feel bad about it. But at the same time, like, you can't just go breaking into people's houses.
No, listen, I understand, but we try to live in a like the crime fits the punishment society. Like that's how the courts work, right? Is that we have different.
This one is weird because she was running away and she chased back. Presumably it would have been different if he had shot her in his kitchen. He doesn't know that they're not there to kill him.
That's totally
He
different.
is-
Hold on, that's a different. If you tell me that story,
Yeah.
I feel differently.
So it's only because he shoots her in the back.
Like even if she has your television and she's running away with it,
Yeah,
do you
you just
still feel
let her run
justified
away.
in
No,
shooting her in the back? You
No,
have
I
insurance.
think it's your life has to be in danger. That's the whole.
And listen, I'm not saying that you should just, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be tough on crime. I don't want people breaking into my house. I'm fine with you owning a gun. It feels weird to live in a society where we're like cheering for someone to shoot. And let's say she's not pregnant. Let's just say she's a woman. Okay, let's get rid of the pregnant because that makes it extra egregious. A woman running away from a crime, being shot to death in the back. I don't know.
And the guy she was with, depending on what state they're in, maybe tried for murder. Right? I told you that whole story. Remember the kids break in, guy shoots them and they get charged with the murder?
Yeah. Well, because they,
Because they were
they
part and
initiated the
parcel of a
crime. I get it. Yeah.
It's where somebody got
And-
killed.
yeah. But that's not murder. Murder is premeditated. They must have gotten
No,
on.
it's third degree homicide or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
It's still murder.
It's something. Yeah.
It's just not first degree or second degree murder.
No, I still think it would be murder.
It is murder. It's homicide. Or sorry, not homicide. It's manslaughter.
That's not murder though.
It is 100%.
They're different fucking charges.
It's still murder. It's the three different variations of murder.
First of all, there's manslaughter, and then there's murder 1 and murder 2.
Yeah, manslaughter is the lowest degree of the murder scale.
But it sounds
Again,
the worst.
murder is premeditated in most cases. Manslaughter means like you could be charged with manslaughter for killing someone behind the wheel of your car. That doesn't mean that you planned. It doesn't mean that when you left your house.
No, but if you kill somebody in your car, whether it was on purpose or it wasn't on purpose, you still murdered them.
No, you didn't. That's what I'm telling you.
I disagree.
Okay. Kamar, what else you got for Eddie?
Just that everyone needs a distraction, and football is his distraction. That's how he gets away from conspiracy theories and all the politics.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I was talking to this guy outside of Ward.
Some people's video games.
This guy's a regular at Ward, and he's a nice guy. Like you can tell that he's lonely, but he's genuinely like a nice guy. But once he gets drunk, he's like the most annoying. He can be the most annoying drunk
Talk
ever.
to strangers.
Oh, that's his biggest thing is
Well,
talking.
that was the biggest thing in Smart Serve.
Yeah,
If someone comes
I
in
know.
your bar and is talking to people they don't know,
That's
yellow
a
light.
sure sign they're
I
drunk.
hate that
Yellow
though.
light.
To me, that's the worst piece of fucking
It is, but
literature ever.
it's sort of
The
like
whole thing is fucking dumb.
you want
It's
to
dumb as
disagree with
shit,
it, but
yeah.
it's true.
Just by the
But wait. I wasn't done. But the point I was making with this guy is he brought up, he was like, I never see you with a drink. And I was like, yeah, I'm 10 years sober. Like, I just smoke weed. And he was like, oh man, I got to quit drinking. Like, I got in trouble at work this week because I drink a lot at work. And I was like, I was like, I don't want to be an asshole.
Oh, and you got in trouble for it?
No, I was like, I don't want to be an asshole, but like,
Like
you probably have a drinking problem.
Unless
if
your
you're drinking at work.
job is like a wine tester or something, you probably shouldn't be
Do you
drinking.
know
at
what his
work.
job was?
He sells hot tubs.
And he was drinking at work? Yeah, that's a problem.
No, that's what I said. Yeah. And I was, because he was like, yeah, it's starting to be a problem. And I was like, listen, if you're drinking at work, it's fucking definitely a problem. But I said to him, I was like, do you have hobbies? Like, is there something you enjoy doing? And he was like, I have too many hobbies, too much I love doing. And I was like, but then why do you?
Number one, drinking.
Like
No,
the,
but
the rat who had the rat paradise to the cocaine.
Well, because
chooses.
normally I was expecting him to be like, I'm really lonely and I don't have any hobbies. But he was like, no, I love, like, then he was like, I love jujitsu. I'm big into jujitsu. And I was like, well, why don't you just bury your head in jujitsu? He's like, I do, but I need to have 3 drinks before I go to jujitsu. And I was like, that's a fucking problem, man. Like,
Yep.
But then the wildest thing, he looked at me and he
Or
said,
dependence.
dude, he looked at me dead in the eyes and he said, but I got to be honest, when I go sober, I'm so much better. And I was like, well, dude, what are you doing with
This
your
is what's
life right
interesting
now?
with
Like,
human beings. They know the problem, but they just can't see the forest through the trees.
well, it was funny too, because then he asked me, he was like, how did you stop? And I said, I was just ready. And he was like, oh, I could tell. I was like, you're not ready, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got to want to stop.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you got to want it.
Well, who
Shit.
knows? Let's hope for that conversation. He's, done some
Manslaughter
thinking.
is a less serious type of homicide. So if you consider homicide murder,
No.
then
Well, what is murder? What's the definition of
you
murder?
don't consider homicide murder.
No. Murdering
Okay,
someone, again,
interesting.
I consider murder to be a premeditated act. Homicide is killing someone.
No, I mean, I think homicide is murder.
No, because it's a homicide if I kill you behind the wheel of my car. It doesn't mean that I set out that day to kill you.
Homicide is when a person kills another person. A homicide requires only a volitional act or omission that causes the death of. Hold on.
Why don't you just look at murder?
I'm looking up how murder is different from homicide.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
What is the legal definition of murder? Under the common law,
Yeah.
law originating for the custom court of decision that rather is the statute, murder was an intentional killing that was, hold on, unlawful
Yep.
and committed with malice.
Yeah. But the key word being intentional,
Malice
correct?
of forethought doesn't mean that a killer has to have acted out of spite or hate. It exists if the defendant intends to kill someone without legal justification or excuse. In addition, in most states, malice of forethought isn't limited to intentional killings. It can also exist if the killer intentionally inflicts serious bodily harm that causes the victim's death, behaves in a way that shows extreme recklessness,
intentional is the word
for
that's-
life. Murder is defined by a statute rather than common law.
Like I said, to me, and I believe that's what they're saying, is that murder has to be intentional, whereas homicide can be accidental. Like you could kill someone at work accidentally.
This is not going to make anyone's lives better.
Shut the fuck
Did you
up.
ever watch movies filmed on a camcorder?
Like the Blair Witch
No,
Project?
no. He means
No,
like
like
a bootleg where someone was in the
no.
theater. Oh, actually, you know what? No, in the early days of streaming, I definitely watched like a new released movie where someone had just, and I was like,
If that was the case, I didn't watch it. I
you-
had my fucking
Standards?
standards.
Did
Oh,
you
no, I'm not saying I
Do
watched
you
the
see the
whole thing.
meme where it's like Iranian watching Oppenheimer and he's got the camcorder and it's Kramer when he was doing that.
That's
bootleg
hilarious.
theater.
Why is that Iranians watching Oppenheimer?
so that they can
think
understand
they're
how to
gonna
build
get-
the bomb. They're watching, taking notes. Iran wants to build weapons of mass. It's a
You
fucking
think you're
meme and
gonna
a
find
joke.
something out in Oppenheimer that you didn't know before? Okay, I'm sorry. Listen,
You know who isn't the funniest man in all?
I don't know anymore.
Sunglasses
I don't know
McGee
anymore.
over.
I'm sorry. If there was a little more discretion in the fucking things he brought up, we wouldn't be stuck talking about this kind of moronacy.
What do you think of that, Kamar? What
Big words.
do you think of that, Kamar?
The first time you saw Anderson Silva, he was so scary. Eh? Just this mysterious man from Brazil.
Gangly as fuck.
Who's just murking people. There was just a lot of reminiscent about fights. And it was interesting, if you think about it, just like we saw basically rap happen. We saw there's before martial arts or before UFC, after UFC, even though you have all these pride and all the other events that they were talking about. I don't know anything.
If UFC didn't exist, do you think boxing would be huge right now? Like, is that all
I
we
think
would
boxing
have?
still
So
is
we
huge.
would-
It just has
No, it's not huge anymore.
If boxing was huge, there wouldn't Logan Paul wouldn't
Exactly.
be.
You wouldn't need those
Yeah.
schmucks. Everybody would be interested in Tyson Fury and all these guys.
Like, here's a good example. Who's Canelo fighting next?
cello. He just fought last night.
I have no idea.
They fought last night.
But
That was
like,
the
you know
fight.
who's a perfect example of
You said
boxing?
cello?
I made up an
Is Lennox Lewis. Like, there's a champ, great champ. Nobody knew who the fuck he was, you know?
It's because he was Canadian.
This is what the internet
He
is
was
going.
Canadian?
Logan Paul.
He was
and all
British,
them
but he fought for Canada.
are pussies for suing Dylan Dennis.
Oh, such
There's just no
pussies.
room in this in the fight game. It's if he really oversteps the line, beat. The
Did
shit
he
out of him.
really sue him? I thought that was
She
like
did,
I
though,
thought
and
that
he's
was
hiding
a,
behind
I thought that
her.
was a joke.
Pathetic.
What a dude. You know,
Logan
it
Paul's a
doesn't matter.
bitch.
I just want the universe to fucking work this out for us, you know?
Yeah, he cannot succeed.
Something is wrong. Him succeeding means that the world is broken.
He's going to lose his hair, and the transplant's not going to fix.
Here's what I think happened.
Take.
I told you guys about 2 Watch Tony and me putting my hand in the water to run that drill.
No?
Yeah. I told you the story a long time ago.
No. I love Two Turn Tony. I would understand. I would remember
Okay,
this.
real quick. I was living in Toronto. I didn't have a job at the time, so Mary's friend was like, "I have these people that need someone to work 10 days at the home show selling this product. Do you think you could do it?" And I was like, "Probably. I'll go meet with them." So I went and met with them. They were like, "The product is this spray that you spray on electronics that makes them waterproof." So he was like, "To demonstrate it, we're gonna have you running a drill plugged in a fish tank. You're going to do it for like 10 days and you're going to describe the product." And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, if you put your hand in the fucking bucket and you run the drill, maybe we can talk. So the guy does it. He shows me. His boss is in the room. He's got 2 Rolexes on, one on each wrist. He was balling as fuck. Point is this. I go to the home show. I do the demonstration. I'm not feeling great about it. I'm not getting paid a ton of money either. Day 4, this guy shows up at the booth and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I went, "Oh, I'm demonstrating this product." And he was like, Stop right now. Do not do this ever again." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm doing my job, buddy." And he disappears and his girlfriend's like chasing. She's like, "Stop, please stop." And I'm like, "What? I don't know what this guy's problem is." He comes back 2 minutes later with the head of the home show. And he's like, "If you run that drill in the water again, this whole booth is shut down and you guys are losing your booth and the money." And I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He pulls out his card. He's like, "I'm the head of Hydro Ontario. I'm the head inspector of Hydro Ontario." He's like, "You are lucky to be alive right now." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, where is this product made? I went, "I don't know." He was like, "Well, he grabs the can. He looks around. He's like, "This has no Canadian certification whatsoever." He's like, "I don't think you realize this. This should have killed you day 1.
Why does this have to do with Two Turn Tony?
My point was this. What I'm getting at is I think this is what happened. I died at that home show. Okay, so I'm dead. This is now a new. So you guys are in my new universe, and that's why everything's going to shit. I
What
died
does
at the
that
home
have
show.
to do with two-turn Tony?
Nothing. I said that's the guy who made me put my fucking. What? Why are you so hooked on Tony?
You mentioned him to
Yeah,
do
'cause
with this story.
Because the first time I told you the story, you couldn't stop talking about Tony. You don't remember the story, obviously.
No, I don't. I want to know what it has to do with two-turn Tony, though.
To watch Tony, first of all.
To watch.
I don't need to know that. I need to know, did that escalate up to whoever had you there doing the demonstration?
Oh, it was hilarious. Like I said, the head guy was like, absolutely don't run this again. And the guy apologized to him. He's like, listen, man,
You should have sued these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
You guys are litigious.
Well,
you
listen,
sued
not
the
in
school.
Canada.
listen, the guy, like I said, the guy was like, I'm trying to save your life. He's like, honest to God, he's like, you don't understand. Like, this will kill you immediately. You will die. He's like, there won't be a paramedic here to
By
save
being
you.
electrocuted?
Yeah. He's like, dude, we're at the home show. He's like, how
No,
many
from
fucking
being bored to death.
No, I thought it was
Kamar.
toxic.
No, he was like, do you know how many volts
Sorry
are
for asking
running?
questions.
He's like, do you know how many volts are running through this fucking? He's
do
like,
not.
you would catch fire right on the spot, your body. Either way, I didn't make enough money for doing it.
The things you do.
Yeah, but my point is, I think I died at that home show. I was thinking about it a lot this week because I was like, there's been a lot of times where I nearly died. I was in a coma, a bunch of stuff. And I was like, maybe that's it.
Listen,
maybe we're
that
just
was
living in my.
That was a great story. Okay, I like the story a lot. I'm confused. Why did you bring the story up, and what does it have to do with two-turn Tony?
I brought the story up because we were talking about how things are so fucked in the world, and I said I think they're so fucked because I died, and you guys are just in my alternate universe now where I'm dead, and this is just
That took,
nothing going right.
just
to watch Tony is the
to
key.
watch Tony is the guy who did the demo for you.
Oh no, he had his lackey do the demo. He was like, "Trust me, it's safe." He couldn't speak English.
His name was To Watch Tony.
I called him to. His name was Tony. That's what
So
he told
this
me.
has nothing to do with two-turn Tony, the guy on YouTube.
I hate who's two turned Tony.
Isn't that his name, Kamar?
It's to watch Tony. But
It is not To Watch
I
Tony.
want two-turn
What are
Tony
you
to
talking
exist.
about? No,
two turned. He's turned.
the
turn
guy,
up.
the guy who
guy on YouTube are you talking about?
he has the duck, baby girl.
Oh, that
And-
guy. Oh, I know who you're talking about. And he pranks his parents all the time.
Yeah, isn't that two-turn Tony?
I don't know what his name is.
We're gonna have to look at this in the break. The benefits of living in the city is you won't see people eat
He
alive.
rushes us through my two-turn Tony thing to tell me some stupid fact.
Well, no,
that
because
I don't give two
That's the job
shits
we've
about.
given him, and
I
he
don't.
does it well.
I know I don't have the answer to your question,
Yeah.
and he doesn't seem to either. So it's sort of like,
Yeah, we're stuck here. You're not going to look it up on your
Oh,
computer.
I'm gonna look it up.
there we go. Animals jacking kids make it seem like they have no soul, but animals defending kids make it seem like they have a soul.
I knew the cat video he was talking about. I've watched it 100 times.
It almost brings a tear to your eye, eh?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Cat saves a kid's life for sure.
Does the cat know what it's doing, or is it just
Oh, it definitely knows what it's doing.
knows what it's doing?
Yeah.
Two-turn Tony.
Is his? I can't see.
Yes, it is. His name is Two Turned, and
Oh,
he
he always
has a
has the
brand
girls.
called
Yeah, yeah,
Two
yeah.
Turned.
Okay.
Two-turn Tony's
And
the man.
his girlfriend used to wear a
So,
mask
okay, hold
all
on.
the time.
And they always
Now,
golf.
now I see the issue we were having.
So I
To
was waiting
watch
for
Tony.
There
No,
you go.
not two turn Tony. My
You
apologies.
see, I
son.
thought
Yeah.
it was you were
glad-
working for
I'm glad-
Two-turn Tony selling drills.
I'm glad you saw that through.
Thank you,
Guys, we're
Thank
so alive here. We are
Back
all
in
of a
the
sudden
game.
so alive.
Defense has to step up.
We are so alive. here.
It's really sad about those guys with the countertop disease, but I think it's just because they're irresponsible and not wearing the proper mask.
Say that again. The countertop.
There was an article I saw unrelated to this. They were talking about these guys doing countertops in California, and they're getting a disease from the fine dust particles, which makes you think disease isn't that
Yeah, that's a.
miracle. It's like irresponsibility of like if you were to work with drywall or anything without proper protection, you're
Can I
going
ask
to
you
get these diseases.
A paint question because I don't care about that.
I don't know if I want to consult for free, but yeah.
I was watching on YouTube the other day. Okay, and this guy takes his roller,
Double size roller.
double size roller,
Yeah.
goes
I've seen 'em all.
wah, 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 and then whoom, 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 and does the whole thing in 2 seconds. We've been painting a lot. Takes way more. Is that a special roller?
I think those videos are sped up.
Interesting. Also,
No, that is a special roller.
it is a special
but you
roller.
have to use a special
but
container.
it's not feeding paint through the roller.
No, that exists though.
It's just like holds a lot on
it's
the
just
paint.
double
Okay,
wide, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
And it's sped up, so it makes it look really fast.
I'm
Okay, thank
sure
you.
they're sped up.
Thank you.
But you have to use a special container because there's anyways.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Two inside
Are we
baseball.
done with
There's the countertop diseases. Everyone should wear proper masks. Work out on an empty stomach. And
No.
I thought he would take
Yeah. I work out on an empty stomach for sure.
because your body's taking energy away from you.
You're going to burn calories.
Digestion.
Yeah.
Okay, then yes.
The guy, so Eddie went to a guy and said, you got to unlock all your muscles. All your muscles are tight. And it takes from like 2 hours of like really low impact stretching. Look into it. But the guy's name, I thought was Joe Hip and Steel. Like you put hip in your, but his name is actually
Hip and Steel,
Hip
yeah.
and Steel, yeah. I had to look it up. I was
It's just one of those names that ends up being perfect.
just like when the guy was like Joe Carnivore and he was pushing vegetarian or
if
whatever.
you have a dentist and his name is like Tony Ivory, you know?
It's like, do you know what Adam
Exactly.
22's last name is?
I do know. Hold
In
on.
real life?
His
Yeah.
name is Adam. Hold on, I know this.
Do you know that his dad was pardoned by Bill Clinton?
Yes, I did know that. He's
Yeah.
got some
And maybe
political
in the
name.
CIA.
Adam Plug Talker.
Adam.
Adam lets his wife get fucked.
What the fuck is his name?
Grand Mason.
Grand Mason, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, he's in there. Yeah.
No secret to that success, but
Nope.
I'm not going to disparage anyone.
No secret to that.
What's the head of the Ku Klux Klan called? The main guy?
The
Grand-
dragon?
The Grand Wizard.
Grand Wizard. Yeah.
Imagine your last name was Matt Grand Wizard.
No, that's not a good
So
one.
this was not your father's Eddie Bravo that came in the studio, and I'm sure the
This was your
reins were put on him.
grandfather's Eddie Bravo.
If you want to hear guys reminisce about fight and you're gonna fight, this is a 5. If you don't, it's just two guys talking with no conspiracies. It's a 5.
Oh, they might have just scored a touchdown too,
Amazing.
Simon. This could be it.
All right, Kamar, you're done?
I give it a 2.5. I'm happy. Eddie. Oh, sorry. No, I give it a 2. Too much fight talk. But I'm happy Eddie's back and happy and he looks good. And I love Eddie.
You can't have Eddie on and have this kind of episode. I give this a 1.
I
just
was
'cause
screaming
respect
sellout
Eddie.
the whole time.
Well, you're going to give it a 5 though, right?
Screaming sellout.
Yeah, yeah. Screaming sellout the whole time, but it's a 5.
I give
It's
it
a
a
5 for
5.
sure.
Oh, I give it a 5. All right, that's it. We're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back. Thank you to, I don't know, someone. I've been fucking it up lately heavy. Check out our sponsors. Link in the description.
We're back.
In time. Kamar, name and a number, please.
2041 Steve Strope.
Oh, this is my favorite of the week.
Well, what's so interesting about him is he is the guy that built the Fast and the Furious car.
Oh, that's very interesting. I did not know that.
Well, you did learn that from listening
Oh,
to this.
right. Yes. I did.
Did you know that before?
No, but I did not. I wasn't like, God, that's interesting. God damn it. I'm interested in this.
Well, I think he has a, as I would like it, a rags to riches story. Like working in his driveway, like just teetering with cars, and all of a sudden gets to making Hot Wheel line.
If he's not building fucking rocket cars and ending up working for Area 51, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's
How
interesting.
about that?
Yeah. Did he ever own a titty bar?
Thank you.
Probably, actually. This guy probably did own a titty bar.
Does he own Adamantium 313? I don't think so.
He's been friends with Joe for 20 years, though. So he's one of his good friends.
So he's been building cars for Joe for a long time. Is that...
Well, he gave Joe congratulations, which Joe could not care less about. He's the only person on Hot Rod magazine with 3 times with 3 different cars.
Who was, Joe or him?
Joe was. It was unbeknownst to Joe, and he told him. I'm really jumping ahead here.
That shows you how little Joe cared.
There should be public service announcements to tell you how fast the 20s go by. Just as I was reminiscing today at that, or not reminiscing.
No, we were talking just the other night. I mean, Matt probably won't understand because he's just too young, but
Young
like
buck.
the 80s and the 90s were just the fucking best.
It felt freer
Everything was just incredible.
and no social media.
I'm sorry, you think I don't remember the 90s?
I don't know, man. I don't know how old you are.
Well, how young do you think I am?
Where were
I know you think I'm
when
5'2".
we were getting high?
5'2" and 27.
No, the 90s were the fucking shit. I couldn't agree with you more. peak of humanity.
And people hear other people say that and they're just like, oh, everybody says that, you know, but they were. And I guess that people in the 70s said that and they were right. Like the 70s seemed like an awesome time.
70s might have been better.
But then the 60s were cool. And then the 50s sucked, right?
Yeah, wouldn't have gone.
Or
no.
they were amazing.
Or they
No,
were amazing.
no.
Like Mad Men. When was that? Was that the 50s?
Yes.
No, that was
60s,
the
that was
60s.
60s.
That
Are you
was
sure? I
60s.
think
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the 50s.
No,
think,
because it was
Kennedy
the
dies.
whole, yeah.
Oh, that's
it was
right.
definitely
Yeah,
the
yeah,
60s.
yeah.
They had the whole
Touche.
Coke
Yeah,
thing.
my bad. Okay.
But maybe late 50s too. And that,
No, I
like
think-
if,
Every time
if
is
you were
great 'cause
rich
we're-
in the
to
50s,
be alive is
that
in white.
sounded
Gotta
good.
be
And
white, yeah.
That's true.
He settled for a fucking
Like out of
field.
anyone at the table, this
Oh my God. You know what I did? This is crazy. You won't even believe this when I tell you, okay? This guy comes into the store.
Okay.
He's black. This is important to the story, okay?
Okay.
He walks into the store, starts talking to me at the cash, puts down a banana on the counter. Okay? Buys some shit and leaves. He left his banana. I, being the courteous salesman that I am, picked up the banana, ran outside of the store yelling, hey, hey,
Oh my
hey.
God.
Then realized I was running down the street chasing a black man with a banana.
yeah.
I still gave it to him, but realized I had made a huge faux pas.
Maybe-
Luckily, nobody saw.
I fucking pray I see you in some TikTok socialist
Imagine
experiment this
it
week.
just.
Fucking
What did he
hilarious.
say? Oh, thank you. I hate it when I forget my banana.
He was just so stoked that he got his banana back. None of us thought any. It was me walking back, and I was like, "Oh, that was bad."
That's a customer
know?
for life.
I mean, it would have been great if he had played it off like, it's not my fucking
That's my
banana.
banana. You fucking racist piece of shit. And then I would have been like, "Well, who left the
Dude,
banana?"
that would have been
I
incredible.
would have gone to the videos to check.
That would have been fucking incredible.
Yeah, no,
Imagine if you go to the videos to check and it's not
It
his.
wasn't his banana. Oh my God! No, I remember him putting the banana down clearly.
No, it would have been the best if you hadn't seen him put the banana down, but he had just touched the banana. That would be-
Interesting. Like to push it out of the way.
I don't know. Who cares?
Who put this banana here?
Are they testing me?
Anyways, I thought that was humorous.
If you listen to
Hilarious.
this episode, be aware there's a quite graphic
He didn't even
description of-
smile, by the way.
I would make that a bit. What are you fucking
killed
nuts?
It. We killed it with the I hate it when I forget my banana. There is a part in this episode where he talks about his eye issues, and for the squeamish, it might not be.
Like I said, nearly puked in the car twice.
Do you think you could do any sort of self surgery, like
Okay, we can't do this. Let's
stitch
just.
yourself, like Rambo style?
I mean, I think if I had to, I could probably stitch myself. I think I could probably like
no way, no how.
pull out a bullet if I had
Like
to.
Trey the Truth.
I think I could probably like. I don't think I could do any sort of operation where if I fucked up, I would die. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
we'll move on.
But definitely, if it wasn't like anything life threatening, I think I could do it.
He's from Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Appalachia. No, Appalachia is where he's not from.
I like Appalachia. I think we should go with that.
Appalachia.
Well, in any event, it was a very cool story about all the mob guys meeting in some barn there, which was a true story. I don't know if we've ever seen that in any movies, but they were just having a meeting or whatever, and they all ran when they saw the cops, like into the woods. And at that point, the FBI had to admit that there was a organized
I
crime.
feel like we have seen that in a movie where they go to the barn and then everybody has to run away.
Maybe.
Well, we may have just remembered from this recounting.
Not me, but maybe.
Definitely not. Definitely not Simon.
And we were
So we
talking.
can just throw that right out the window.
We were talking about how credit cards, you could live off a credit card with the old machines, how they would have to process license plates.
What do you mean?
Like now you see a car, a cop could
Oh, he has
punch
a
in license
computer,
plate
yeah.
in a second, find out a thing.
Well, I
Back
think they
then
used to
would
call it in.
Write down, and still, what is that person doing?
I got to run down to the basement real quick.
You know what's a great
That's a good
scene
point,
in the
Kamar.
movie, just as I'm looking up mobster stuff right now?
Yeah.
In A Bronx Tale, when the bikers are in the bar and he goes and he locks the door and they just kick the shit out of him.
We shouldn't like that.
No, but it was like,
You're just choosing one criminal over the other.
No, I told you the best mob scene is what is it? What fucking movie is it? Where De Niro's the dad. Tell your father where you got the money.
Yeah. Analyze this.
What's sick? No. It's not analyze this. Not that. It's the old
Bronx
like.
Tale.
No, is it a Bronx Tale?
Yeah, where he's the dad.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
What's his name is the mobster.
Yes, yeah.
This guy.
Dude, tell your father where you got the money. $600 you've been saving?
yeah.
Would you become a brain surgeon overnight? fucking incredible
Is
scene.
it the mom from? Is she the Sopranos lady?
Lorraine Bracco, I think.
Yeah, Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
She was
your
also
father
the
where you got the
mom,
money.
I believe, in
Doing things. What do you mean things? What things?
What things? What things?
Oh, things.
What was the one with Leo basketball
Basketball
about
Diaries.
Jim Carroll? Basketball Diaries.
Yeah,
Was she the mom in that too?
I think so.
I feel.
I don't
like she
remember.
was. Anyways.
I haven't seen Basketball Diaries in a very long time.
Great movie. Holds
Yeah,
up
but I
today.
haven't.
Really
When
good.
was the last time you watched it?
Great.
You probably watched it with Shep or something.
I haven't watched
There's a
it. Yeah,
big,
not
there's
that
a
long
big
ago.
school shooting scene. In
Yes, yeah. You can't get. We've talked about this. You can't find that anymore
yeah.
because of that scene. And then we start talking about Rage by Stephen King, which is the
There's also that other movie.
exact
Remember,
same thing, but like 30 years before.
Kamar, what was that? The Program? Was that football movie?
Yeah.
So they removed a scene from that too.
Why? It was a school shooting?
No,
scene?
no. So the
Was
guy,
it the highway?
yeah, the dude he was on
I
like the
remember.
cover of like Sports Illustrated, and he went out into the highway and laid down on the line.
I remember.
And the whole team did it, and yeah, apparently
There-
some kid did it like the next week and got fucking.
There's a new show on Amazon right now, Kamar. It's by the boys.
It's about the teenager
Yeah.
New Mutants X-Men.
Yeah. It's not bad.
I'll give it a go. A weird theme that Joe was exploring this week was the devil.
Oh, he's
very
he's
interesting.
he's
There's something going on about just
Joe has found God.
Well, have you noticed too that Sam Tripoli has found God? Is there like something going on?
he's
and
been towing that line a lot longer than Joe's been talking about the devil.
that whole devil conversation was so interesting though.
If
That didn't happen in this episode.
it would happen in both this episode and the next episode,
Okay.
we'll just
You wouldn't know, would
Well,
you?
the next episode for sure. They had a
I was
great
just
conversation about
introducing a theme that
that
he
will
started
carry
talking,
on
like,
next episode.
The chiefs of staff were to come on the news and say, we found the devil. He's in Syria. We have him surrounded. Would just be as crazy as UFOs.
I love that he's in Syria.
I mean, that's a little more
get-
different. Like the devil is really just a idea, right? It's not. Nobody's claiming the devil is a real thing that you're going to catch in Syria, whereas they are saying, UFOs are real and we shoot them.
And
out
like
of
Joe
the
says,
sky.
you'd never be able to recognize him or it.
Well, that's
Well,
because
he's got a goat body, so
it's-
pretty.
I mean, forget the devil, but just we put
Go on.
a weird like spiritual ghosty thing to demons, and maybe demons are just a natural animal just like anything else is.
The ghost
you know?
that got done dirty.
I don't think they are a ghost at all, I guess is my point. And maybe then you could catch them in Syria because
just a
they're just,
ghost that got done dirty.
They talked about modified food, how so we could feed everyone, we're all unhealthy. Mm-hmm. Sort of a weird
here's
predicament we put ourselves in.
I was talking about fish the other day.
And then they started talking about fish.
So-
Excellent segue.
Well, that's amazing. So they have fish farms, right? Where they breed salmon to be eaten.
Yeah.
Why do they ever fish in the ocean anymore then if they can just do that? You would never know the difference between a farm raised fish and like they all just taste fishy,
They all just taste fishy.
than a wild caught fish.
I think the wild ones are better for you
Or bigger, too big to farm.
because I'm pretty sure they've done tests where like the farmed salmon are just like
Free range.
gross.
I mean, I'm sure we could. It's probably just a cost cutting issue, but
Especially
I'm sure,
salmon. I feel like all that swimming upstream is what gives them like.
Well, they could just make pools where it was a constant flow of water. Like that's so. Anyways, I just like. Do you feel bad really about eating cows? They're raising those cows to be eaten. They're not going out into the woods like Joe and hunting elk that are living wild in the woods. You know,
Well,
that would be different if you were
there's-
out there just blasting cows in the fucking fields, you know?
We're talking about ethics and then just the morality of like destroying the ocean, like over.
Well, this wouldn't destroy the ocean at all, is my point. The ocean would thrive because we would only be eating the fish that we grow ourselves. And it's still fish. We're not
They mentioned people are
we're not like substituting it with fucking Impossible Burgers. You know what I'm saying? It's still fish.
Yeah.
but they are stockpiling tuna and freezing it for when there's a shortage.
Well, it's so crazy. Like, you know, that one of those tuna fish
Yeah, I don't know how you'd farm
is
those.
like $3 million. Why not? Just
They're
make
huge.
them, but they don't have to be so big.
No, I think that's the whole idea. That's how you get so much out of it.
But
Why?
you wouldn't have to get so much out of it because you're just making them yourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, how much, like, how, okay. So how big do you want a tuna to get?
I
Just
don't,
out of
I don't know.
curiosity.
Does a tuna have to be giant for it to taste better?
That would be the first thing I'd say. Go artificial before your meat, fake fish.
And this all started, this whole
don't know the answer to
conversation
the
this
question.
week through octopus. Knowing what we know about octopus, there's one thing we shouldn't be eating. You know what I'm saying? So smart, obviously has feelings, amazing capabilities that no other animals have. We don't eat dolphins, we don't eat whales, and yet we fucking chow down on calamari like it's going out of style, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so weird how human beings like decide, yeah, this is cool and this isn't, completely arbitrarily.
Of course. But we've always been like that. Do you eat a lot of seafood?
No, I don't love seafood. I'll eat
hate
like if I catch my own fish, I don't mind eating it.
Interesting. What have you caught that you've eaten?
Like we would catch pickerel all the time in the river and have like fish fries or whatever. That's about it. Maybe trout. If we caught a trout, I would eat it. A bass, I might.
But
eat,
your
it's
number
a lot of
one
bone.
meat that you'd want to eat is a steak.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, given the choice.
Like
for
protein meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
sure. If they said to me, you can only have one protein, yeah, it's steak for sure.
And they talked about this with Eddie too, but just deep sea fishing is crazy because there's not a lot. You're sort of in space, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just, if something goes wrong, you can't just, oh, I changed my mind. I'll walk on those waves. You go down the ship or whatever.
I
Yeah,
hate the idea.
and you're just
Maybe a
out in the
helicopter
middle
could, if you have a beacon or whatnot.
I hate the idea.
of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, being out there, fuck that.
And interesting enough, at this point, Steve says for the car guys, you want to tune into this because we're going to go technical.
Skip it.
But the one cool thing about these cars
Skip it.
is it's better to have in an apocalypse or whatnot. Because you can actually fix a whole car. There's no computer that you got to dial up to sync. It's super mechanical.
Yeah. Like my car has a stupid push button to start it. And I swear to God, like if that wire breaks, my car is obsolete.
That's one step, but I'm literally going down to the engines. You could find an engine, change it, like it's just screws and bolts and nuts. You could fuck it up, but with
Well, I mean, I guess ideally you'd want to have an American car because there would be the most secondhand parts kicking around.
yeah,
right?
or
I don't know, man. A Honda? I feel like in an apocalypse, I feel like there's a lot of fucking Honda parts. Just
I
not,
wonder. I just assume because you'd be able to buy a lot of old.
No, you're probably right. Like
American
Ford.
American,
Yeah.
American first. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that Honda, like if you go to Canadian Tire or anywhere like auto parts, they have just stock Honda parts fucking everywhere.
And just to strengthen my point, in an apocalypse,
Yeah.
you know, you're trudging around, going through backfields, you come across a barn, maybe you find some guy's old jalopy. It ain't gonna be a Honda, Matt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
gonna be a fucking T1 Ford or whatever they're called.
Model
1 Ford.
Model T Ford.
But
Model
just
T Ford. Model 1T Ford.
it's another thing that we've sort of done to ourselves in making these cars so smart and computers, and you couldn't fix your car's engine if your
I
life
said it,
depended
yeah,
if
I
your
know.
life depended on it.
No, I couldn't fix most things if my like I
There's nothing I could fix.
so
That's not true.
I want to just change lights.
You've never taken apart like even a two-stroke motor?
No, you have?
Yeah.
I've taken apart PlayStation controllers, fixed them, like put in the old, like new.
There you
yeah.
go. Pat yourself
No, I've
on the
done
back.
some stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Listen, I laid all the floor in here. I did
Not
the
going
drywall.
to help him in an apocalypse.
Well, the one thing about building is taking apart, putting them back together.
I agree.
And you know when you have two screws left over, that's what you have to do is just keep track. Do you guys have a car? They were just talking about to be a car guy. Something has to happen when you're young.
Yeah, I don't have that
You
car.
just fall in love with a car.
No.
Nothing like a souped up Honda Civic. I always like the CRX. It was a little.
Like I've never driven. Well, I guess I drove Ramey's car a few times. I've never driven a nice car.
I've driven an Alfa Romeo Spider before. That was probably
that's-
the nicest
yeah.
car I've ever driven.
That's
and the
nice.
gear shift
Yeah.
was a convertible, just
Yeah.
by the by. And the gear shift is like up on the dash like this. It's fucking crazy.
That's wild.
Because there's not enough room down here, I don't think. It's too little.
I guess it was real tight in there for
It
sure.
is very.
Joe was talking about if you have a nice car, you know, because every time you get out, you have to look back. Or maybe Steve said it and you go, cool car. And it's your own thing. I've never had that.
No,
I've had that with shoes. Really nice shoes. When I
Where
like
you
them.
look down at your shoes and you're like, those are cool. Whose shoes are? Oh, that's me.
No?
no.
Maybe one day a car. I know
Maybe one day
I'm
I'll get a
I'm
cool
not
pair
car
of
guy
shoes
at
like
all.
that, Matt.
I would love. Listen, if I had tons of money, I would buy one nice car. But I would probably just buy like a Benz coupe or something.
Do you think when you're young, you also had a thing like you wanted something so you could drive all the boys around?
Yeah,
Like you wanted a minivan almost?
yeah. But I also didn't get my license till I was like 30. So
El Camino, love it or hate it?
I love it.
Well, you know, it's my car. I've always
It
said
is
I
the
would
best.
retrofit
So
one.
sick.
The Croc, the Trar, and then like they call it in Australia, the Ute.
The Ute.
the Ute.
And it was an
Fucking right, mate.
excellent example of Joe. Well, this guy's, his first car was an El Camino Bow Angels. Yeah, I just don't like the El Camino. Jamie pulls out the first one.
it's
You know what? I
amazing.
changed my mind. Those are amazing.
What do you think of those new extended Jeeps? You know what I'm talking about?
The Wagoneer.
No. It's like a Jeep YJ, but it has
little
like
bit
a
longer.
long back, like a pickup truck.
No.
You don't like them.
No.
Sure, all those things, though, I worry about them tipping. Not that I drive.
That thing would not tip. It's fucking huge.
I will say a Jeep in the summer. I used to roll around with a dude who had a Jeep. Jeep in the summer with like none of the doors, none of that shit. That's the
I
fucking.
always just found, convertible
think?
is so goddamn pretentious.
But it's cool.
Not a convertible, a Jeep.
Well,
it's got
I
the
know,
bars,
but it's
Doors
got the,
off.
You know,
doors off. Yeah.
Windshield down.
pretentious.
No, we had the windshield up. You don't want to get smoked in the face.
Douchebag, hanging out the back.
Pretentious.
Or
This
what
guy's
is
calling
it?
me a douchebag. Look at
No,
his
it's-
chin
I
strap.
mean,
Oh.
where did you fit? Where did you fit the no fear sticker and the Calvin pissing sticker? There's just not enough.
I had
like-
tattoos of them.
Oh yeah, tattoos.
It's
Obviously.
Zoolander.
Obviously, yeah.
Fucking
What's the
Eagles.
song they sing?
Wake me up before you go.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's what they're singing as they're driving their YJ around. Wake me up.
Driving their
before you go.
wide
You had the
around.
story about the Wabi Sabi. He had an image of a skull he wanted to put on a car, and the guy faxed it, and the fax made it better.
Yeah, I don't remember that story. You know what car I
Happenstance.
always
Very
liked
good.
as a kid, even though it was a piece of shit, is the Volkswagen Rabbit. Because it had a little rabbit on the
Yeah.
back, which I always thought was really cool.
car. Terrible.
Convertible. That's a real douche mobile.
So you grew up wanting a German Nazi
Things
car.
you can't have, Matt.
Gotcha.
Things you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
have.
Jägermeister.
He had tons of Jaeger.
It's Nazi juice.
Yeah.
Is it really? I knew I hated that shit for a reason.
That's why it's black.
It's not black.
Jaeger?
Jaeger is brown.
It's like the brio of liquors.
It's like the Brio of like
There's
You're angry that I said it was brown and not black. Do you know the difference between brown and black?
I don't like you. very much.
Okay, well,
as I
I don't know
said,
what to tell you.
Yeah, don't tell me shit.
That's brown.
He is the guy who made Vin Diesel's wicked car with the carbon fiber.
Enough with
Han
the
Solo,
fuck. We
Metallic.
get
care-
it.
we didn't
he
care
made Fast
15
and
minutes
Furious.
ago,
You're going to
still
tell me all
don't
the
care
different
now.
actors who he made cars for?
I thought this was really great at taking praise and passing it
I
on.
know.
Joe would tell him, you do this great. He's like, well, I couldn't do them with the team.
Let's save
Taking
all
praise
the
and
rest of the
passing it on.
time for Joe List.
Sure, whatever you want.
And there was a part where
He doesn't like to leave any fucking notes on the table. Have you
there's not much
noticed?
more.
No, we don't care.
No, but
There's not much
There's
more.
just a point where
He said that like Trump.
We have
Joe,
to talk about
Joe
more
gets in his
garbage.
way, and this guy wants to talk about this Road Runner that is his newest build that he's about to unveil. And Joe's like, "Yeah, but you should redo the Blade car." I was like, "Yeah, we can do that." But this but Blade, you remember Blade? And couldn't get off that the guy said like that's a pedestrian Renault or whatever they call it. I'm not a car guy.
That's why we should have just left that note out.
Take
Like,
praise,
just trust us.
pass
No,
it on.
stop. Let's go. Move
Joe
on.
still goes to California and shoots at Terrence
Hey,
Tactical.
Kamar, you're really good at taking the notes. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
that.
he's
pal.
doing this just to spite me.
No,
eh?
He
Kamar,
says-
your notes are the best. Read every single one.
No,
you
I'm
got.
trying to. He said praise and pass it on.
every week I think
Giving him some praise. He's going to pass you some.
every week. Yeah, thank you for pushing me to be better. Simon. Every week I try to say I'm not going to take notes and just read a blank screen to you guys here. See how it goes, but I
There's
just
no
don't
way
have-
you could do
I-
that. You'd stare at us blankly
I
for
need
3
to have my
hours.
homework done. Joe still goes to California
Stop,
to shoot at Terrence
stop. Enough. Move on. Come on, seriously. Joe List, let's go.
But friends of 20 years.
This motherfucker.
Friends of 20 years. He goes, have you ever bow hunted? And I was like,
They're not
you guys
friends.
know each other.
They're not friends.
Oh man.
Like, you have siblings? You have a sister, Matt?
That's fucking hilarious. Fucking Eagles. That's it.
Come on.
We're
You
gonna
can't
rate
even
it.
find the note
Yeah,
now.
we're gonna rate
This is
it.
crazy.
Now
You're
he's
just doing this
actually-
out of spite.
Now he's actually looking at a blank
Yeah,
screen.
this is crazy. I rate it a
Steve Stroke
1.
goes, and it's amazing that you do this because it's not funny.
He said that?
Yeah,
I forgot that.
He told Joe it's amazing you do this because
because it's not funny and people like it.
What
But,
was it?
no, it was just it's the fact that they can have serious conversations. It doesn't have to be about the joke. And Joe goes, "Yeah, some guys get on and they don't realize they're always going after the joke." What a great segue for our next guest. But just tie this up. He finishes off with a style bender speech, and Joe said, "That's all about. I hope you can feel as good as I feel right now, just one time in your life. And what you gotta do is never give up and work as hard as you can." I'm paraphrasing. This guy was great. I give it a 5.
Oh my, you're such a dipshit.
1.
I'll give it a 2. Just I'm not a car guy. It was all fucking car talk. Car talk.
Yeah. And now you know who made the Fast and Furious car. And
Didn't care. Didn't care before. Don't care now.
I feel like I had to listen to that episode twice.
Did you? All right. Final episode of the week.
Saturday drop,
Saturday.
back in town, 2042, Mr. No Chin, Joe List.
Mr. No Chin.
Kamar's all
Didn't
over
talk
fucking-
about the only thing I wanted them to talk about.
He talks about, what would you want to talk about?
What do you think I wanted them to talk about? If I had one choice to have Joe List give his side of the story, what do you think I would want to hear
with
them
Bert
talk
Kreischer.
about? You're damn straight.
Well, that's not going to happen on the No Fun Zone.
Darn
The All Fun Zone, Joe Rogan. Well, there goes that season. We'll start again next week.
The no fun zone.
Kamar, are you serious? I'm so down to start again.
That
next
would
week.
be a good name for alternate name for
A podcast?
JRE. No, for
Oh.
the JRE.
Oh, okay.
The No Fun Podcast.
They started
No
talking
Fun
off
Zone.
about club decorum, and then they got into the idea that there's a finite amount of heartbeats. So you have
Yeah.
3
Dude,
million or
I
whatever
think
it is.
about my heart beating all the time.
Yeah.
And how fucking crazy it is. Like, I totally understood what he was talking about. How crazy it is that the second you're born, your heart is beating and it doesn't stop until the time you die. That could be 70 plus years.
But at any point in there, it could just decide.
But
this
it
is
just does it like all the time. Nothing else is just working all the
Your
time.
brain is.
It shuts off really when you sleep.
No, it doesn't. You're still
mean, you're
dreaming.
dreaming,
Using
but-
part of your brain. Well, where do you think that comes from?
I think that's coming from
Somewhere in your
nothing
brain.
to do with
Your lungs
brain.
are working all the time.
Yeah, you're constantly breathing.
Your kidneys working all the time.
liver.
Yeah.
Everything's working all the time.
I mean,
You're a
not
fraud.
to the same extent. First of all, your heart is making all of those work. None of those work without your heart.
It's all.
Okay, do you understand that?
It's
Agreed.
All of those things
symbiosis.
you just mentioned are useless without your heart pumping.
And it's the size of your fist.
I mean, maybe yours. Mine's fucking inflamed and huge.
Fucking secretariat over here.
Would you say
Stop doing that.
we've seen the evolution of terrorism? Because I remember when I was a young kid, it was always movies about some guy who was hijacking a plane for $30 million, maybe to fund his army in some other place, but it wasn't this organized thing that it evolved to.
Or to have his like comrades released.
Yes,
Sometimes that
a
was
prisoner
thing. Yeah.
swap or
Yeah,
something, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
somehow it became to be ISIS and the Taliban or whatever that is.
Well, and then 9/11, and then it's kind of, capped off. They won.
It became political.
They won the war on terrorism, apparently.
Apparently.
Point of purchase sales are hurting because people are on their phones.
Well, he was saying that gum sales and
He
like
was
little
saying that
trinkety
the,
stuff.
I see those as all as POP.
What do they call those? They call them
Lost leaders?
impulse buys.
Impulse buys.
That's,
and the best was, as they said, the Inquirer,
The tabloids,
the World
yeah.
News, and the Alien, and JFK's mother's an alien, and all that stuff. And I think there was one movie where it turned out, oh yeah, those are all true. I think it might
Yeah.
be a Men in Black.
Yeah, it happens all the time where they get it right.
We tell you.
Bigfoot
we tell you.
marries man in
Yeah.
woods. What were we talking about right before that, though, Kamar? Because I wanted to make a point.
We were talking about the evolution of the terrorist.
And then
Point of perch suffering from phone.
no, the
Heart beating.
no, the impulse buy.
Okay, yeah. The
Remember
impulse
when
buy.
you were a kid and it would just like 2 rows as you were coming, sometimes only one when you were coming up the cash. And then those sly fucking bastards started making the maze. And then all along the maze was impulse buys.
What do you mean out of
Trinkety
Walmart?
stuff? Yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
You're admitting to going there. Winners has a good one too.
No, it's not just Walmart. Like you go to the superstore. I know what he's talking about. They have the
Everywhere.
little things hung up like
Yeah.
mid row where it's like, don't you need a deck of
Or
cards?
even they do it in like
Staples.
Staples. They do it in like some clothing stores in the mall,
Yeah.
I bet they learned
Old
it at the
Navy.
Casino Lab.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never
Call
know.
back. Do you think the algo has figured you out? Joe List was telling Joe Rogan about how he had felt he had skirted the algo, but all of a sudden it got him. And
You know what my trick is, eh? I just never sign up for anything.
but you have a YouTube account. You don't pay for YouTube.
Yeah.
You don't have. You just log in.
I just go onto a YouTube. I have their app, but I don't I never put my name in. So they have nothing from me except for what they can steal through my phone,
But Kamar, here's what's interesting. Because I have 2 YouTube accounts, the algos are completely different. So I have the JREE one where we don't have ads, and I use that one for editing. So I listen to music. So it's all music or like how to edit.
There's not one thing of breaking points or one bite. Everyone knows a rule, whatever like that.
It's soft white underbelly. That's because I watch a lot of that while I'm editing too. Like I'll listen to those interviews. So, and then the one on there that's like on the PlayStation and hooked up to all that one's like a lot of soccer, a lot of football, a lot of McAfee, video
It
games,
knows you
poker.
best.
Yeah. But that one, like you wouldn't know who the hell I am. You'd think like this guy's like this guy cares about photography and editing and listens
Give
to
it
like
time.
Yeah, if you were to judge by like the way my algo comes up, because mine comes up as like I guess the most popular things. So I get a lot of like iShowSpeed and
that's interesting.
It's like he's in his infancy of YouTube.
and like all these like stupid mass dumb shit, Kais and that.
yeah, you get the ones YouTube is pushing to you.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They're not catering to me. They're catering to me as like an every moron
Yeah.
instead of an everyman. You
Just
like
what
I did
it's
there, Matt?
pushing. And you avoid Danny Duncan.
Boom. Happy. History. What?
You
Danny
avoid
Duncan?
Danny Duncan.
I mean, he'll pop up every once in a while because he's like being pushed by the algo.
In my opinion, of all he's the best.
Yeah, you say that
I'm
every
doing that.
week. Do you want to fuck Danny Duncan? What's going
Hey,
on?
Danny, I'm out here, man. We're out here, Danny.
Kamar, he can get it.
Yeah, my algo's pretty trashy just because I hate watch some of those Jack Doherty's. fuck in my life.
Well, I mean, yours is full of women riding horses, so who even fucking knows, you know?
Yeah, I've never showed that
That's
to
what you call a callback.
Yeah, I'm
Just
trash.
by the way, come on.
The
Boom, history.
Wabi Sabi, the distance from the mound.
I can't. He's so fucking focused on his notes that he can't even appreciate a word that comes out of anybody's mouth. It fucking kills me.
No,
it
it's
kills
that. Listen, he is the funniest man in Ottawa.
You
so
take
he
the shades
cannot.
off. I know.
He can't bow to your fucking pleb.
Boom,
pleb.
history.
You take the shades off, and just everything changes.
No, don't. Okay.
Difference from the mound to the plate is 60 foot 6 inches. It was supposed to be 60 feet.
What?
Quirky. This is a baseball guy.
Baseball.
Joe's in the
He
numbers.
was really into baseball.
Different.
Sorry, what was the thing?
The mound to the
Is
plate is
supposed to be-
60.6 inches, and it's supposed to be 60. It was like a typo or like a misprint or whatever.
Oh, I see. I'm going
I think it was a misprint.
misprint.
But we're just taking Joe List at his word there.
That guy doesn't have any reason
What
to
does
lie.
he have any? It's true. He seems
No,
like an
I'm
honest
just
guy.
saying he might have heard it somewhere where it was.
Did you guys get a little butthurt when they were attacking some of our English?
Like,
Well, whose English should we be closer to, England or America? We do the color.
Yeah,
we're closer
Kalur, yeah.
to England because they used to inhabit our grounds.
Inhabit our ground.
But we are
Inhabit our grounds.
we are closer to America because they're right there.
Well, now we get it through, that's why you say things like on God and Cap and Riz and all that fucking American.
You just brought Riz to the table. I've never had the guts to try
Riz. The Zaza.
that. Have you ever driven abroad
Yes, I've
in
driven.
another country?
Yes, I've
on
driven.
the other side of the road.
We rented.
Oh, never on the other side of
Not
the
on the
road,
other
no.
side of the road. We drove all over.
America's
Europe.
not abroad.
I
technically
drove in
it is.
Thailand.
Okay,
Well, I was asking if that's abroad.
but the road is on the same side.
I've driven on the Autobahn. Come on,
that's fun.
Is it on the same side?
it's all on the same side.
But you guys have been to countries where they do drive the other way,
Correct.
and that thing of
Fuck, looking both ways.
you
before
start
cross
looking the
road.
wrong
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
as I have said before on the podcast, I used to live in Australia. I had this exact same thing when I came back to Canada.
A more dangerous thing than traveling abroad and having to deal with that is a place like Amsterdam, where if you've never been there, it goes road, bike path, sidewalk, and everybody bikes there. So the bike paths are used all the time, and you can die by one of those bikes.
I bet.
And yeah, that's it. Kamar. You weren't listening. It doesn't matter. Go on with your fucking useless fucking note.
It felt like Joe was coming here to have a good time with Joe List. He's always cracking jokes. He was trying multiple bits throughout to get him going, and it felt like Joe Rogan just wanted to sort of emotionally dump after a long week of talking about stuff.
Yeah, Joe List had some great jokes in there. Like I don't know, he had some funny zingers.
What was why did you think he went into the wood chipper?
This is the wood chipper that he's
is-
talking about because he's saying Joe List went in just to try to get some laughs, have a lighthearted conversation. He felt
Yeah.
like Joe was trying to.
I'm gonna need some examples.
Well, I think something went wrong when he was like, "Yeah, there's only one bathroom for so many people," and then Joe goes like, "Yeah, you're right."
Well, that was later on in the
That was
episode.
almost at the end of the episode. And it was so funny because he's like, "Do you want some advice?" And Joe's like, "Yeah, totally." Well, you should put a bathroom there. Yeah, that's not
That's
gonna
not
work.
going to happen. But the funniest thing is that Joe was like, "We definitely run plumbing." I'm like, "You're worth hundreds of millions of
but
dollars."
that is a big thing when you have to run plumbing to a place where there's no plumbing. Like, who knows how far the stack is from. All I'm saying, Matt, is usually when you're redoing a building, if you can keep the plumbing in the same place,
I
you
get it.
do that.
I get it, but I'm just saying when money is not an issue, anything can be done
No,
in
but
quick time.
in order to do that, you
Yeah.
might have to close down the club for days. Like, who knows what kind of job that is? If you have to trudge all the way to the,
I go
you
back
just
to
don't get it.
No. Simon, I understand that if you owned that club, being closed for 4 days would be a big deal. A lot of money lost.
Oh no, it's the scheduling thing. I don't think it's about the money
whatever,
at all.
fuck.
It's that he has tickets sold. Fucking
Everyone is
8 months in
champing
advance.
at the bit to go
Champing,
there.
good for dude. That's a long time coming. That is a long time coming. I was getting ready to correct you when you
No,
said it
yeah.
right. I was like, champing, that is right.
That's like that thing in the office where he's like, it's an espresso, and he goes, it's espresso, and he goes, that's what I said, and he goes, Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's exactly what happened. It's champing. That's what I said. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
wait.
good
Yeah.
job.
Nice. Sorry,
That-
Kamar, go ahead.
that
Kamar
made-
refuses to laugh at any of this.
He's not even here. Fuck.
They talked about crowd work and how those are getting reactions on social media. So now people are talking to the crowd.
He's Chat GPT.
Yeah, dude. Exactly.
It spoke
Like
to,
literally, it would be like you're like, he's like, are you done? Okay, here's the more information. Sorry.
It spoke to me because I think the only reason as an MC ask people where they're from, whatever, is for anyone. Any of the comics in the back listening, could have something that they want to do with it. Break the ice with the audience, but definitely you got to do material or people think it's a crowd work show.
If they, sorry, what?
Wait,
what,
really though? Because I don't. I mean, I know I'm just one person, but I wouldn't assume that just because the host was doing a bit of crowd work, that it was the whole show was going to be crowd work. I understand this. I understand being like if there's a yappy woman in the front row, I understand why you wouldn't want to engage her, because if you do early on, she might then be like, I can just talk to every comedian moving forward. Does that make sense?
You do, but you also may want to nip her in the bud.
Why was-
Let's get out of your system right now, and then you shouldn't do this anymore. But generally, most hosts say, okay, guys, we talked. The people coming up have
Gotcha.
they're set, prepared. Don't talk to them unless they talk to you.
He did make a good point, Joe, about why it's always crowd work that goes on the internet in the clips, though, because people don't want to burn their material, and you can just burn crowd work, right? So,
And you're putting out content.
very smart.
Coffee guy, tea guy.
Tea guy.
Hate coffee. Never drink
I've
it.
never-
Coffee guy. I'm either.
never
I think
had a
I've
cup
tried
of
it
coffee in my
twice in
life.
my whole life.
Then
Both
they talk.
times I spat it out.
Then they talk about the club. Then Joe guilts him in the bathroom. I think guys are way off of the timeline here. Then they talk about heroin and music. Is heroin still in music?
Didn't we just talk about this last week?
Heroin and music?
Yeah. We had this whole conversation. Yeah, we had this whole conversation.
Okay. Well, Kamar, I believe that probably, yeah. Maybe not on the highest levels anymore. I mean, rap is now, like, if you were saying that rap is dead and that country's the biggest. So those are probably two where I would say heroin is not.
I think heroin is a big part of
Well,
country music.
with-
You're
Really?
wrong there, yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if it's.
I'm often wrong.
But it's Percocets or fentanyl.
Okay, well, that's a little
Just
And
a
then the
different
rap,
version.
it's,
It's
okay,
synthetic,
fine. Okay, fine.
synthetic heroin
I was talk-
instead of shooting.
I meant
Hillbilly.
like smoking and shooting heroin. I guess that's more where I was at.
I still think there's a huge difference between taking pills and shooting heroin. In the outcome of the heroin is what I'm saying. Going mainline like that, I've never done it, but I imagine that is just like instantaneous bliss. And you don't get that from doing pills. You still have to wait time for it to come on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I think if you snort it,
I've
happens
never
pretty
done
fast.
that, so
I've
I
heard.
don't know. Yeah. No, really, you've heard?
Then they brought it back to because Pink Floyd was on heroin, I guess, when they made it matching up with the Wizard of Oz. And I think it's just more of a pattern mathematical thing. I think a lot of things you could play with the Wizard of Oz. You'd be like, oh,
You're going to like this, but I think this is the truest. Here, dab me just to begin.
Preemptive?
Yeah, preemptive. This is the truest example of how we're in a simulation is that we find Easter eggs like
Yeah.
those two things matching up that have zero things to do with each other, but it's just like you unlock the level and the whole world gets to see.
Do you think this is odd though? This dawned on me. Do you think it's odd that no one has that album's how old? 30 years old? 40 years old? Oh, it's got to be. I'm
It's
40
ol-
years
it's
old. Yeah, it's
older.
older than me. Yeah. Okay. So
60 years old?
sure, let's say it's a 60-year-old album. How is it possible that in 60 years since that album that no one has tried to make an album and specifically match it up with
To
like
the
a,
Wizard of Oz?
or any other movie? Yeah.
It's so
Doesn't
true.
have
do
to
it.
be the Wizard of
do
Oz.
it. It works out more than
Like,
it
how
doesn't.
did Nas never write a song to match up with Back to the Future or something?
Sure, not but,
No,
yeah.
just
no, but
joking.
no, but that's a good example. Like someone, I mean, maybe not.
That
Back-
is a good example. Maybe
No, it wasn't for either of them, but I
Pink
get what
Floyd
you're
works
saying.
with Back to the Future as well.
I just,
I see. If you're looking for a matchup, you're going to find a matchup.
And I think it's just
I have to tell you
not
the
as wild
absolute
as you
truth.
think.
I have never done that. Watched
me neither.
the synced up version, so I had zero idea what they were
I've
talking
tried it a
about.
couple times on YouTube, but someone's done it. It's not like you,
You
put
need
it
the
on.
you
and
need the
play it on
perfect
your own.
matchup. That was a question. Like, what's
It's
your
a
problem?
weird movie with weird visuals. It's a weird album with weird songs.
a very cool movie.
I was gonna say one weekend we should eat a bunch of mushrooms, So we should like start a stream with us having just eaten mushrooms, wait a half hour, like just chat, and then a half hour in, 45 minutes in, start, like line it up, and we'll do like a watch along, like people can, and we'll see how I don't know if I'll make it through.
Yeah, and I'm not doing the mushrooms, but I like where your head's at.
You're not going to do mushrooms with two friends.
I haven't done mushrooms like a
Microdose.
real
The,
dose
Wiz-
of
the
mushrooms
Wizard
in
of
a long
Oz is
time.
the most seen movie, then Titanic.
Oh, listen. Oh my God, that reminded me. Okay. I'm going to play this game with you guys real quick. This was one of my trivia things this week. I want you to tell me how fucking terrible this list is. This is according to IMDb, this is the most watched television shows of all time. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think is,
We're starting at number 10 or number 1?
well, wherever you want.
Well, the most watched television show of all time
Yeah.
The
is going to be
Honeymooners.
Survivor,
No.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons is
Has
number
to be
25.
25.
Yeah.
Oh, because it could be repeats as well. Like, is it live?
First of all, this is
watching,
the
or
problem.
is
This is
it-
the problem. They don't give you any they tell you no.
So I don't. So number 1, the Kardashians.
No.
Uh,
Kamar, you-
Cops.
oh, it's American Idol.
No, you guys think more like real television shows.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Friends.
Friends, I think, is number
The
29.
The Office.
Well, The Office is criminally low on here. Seinfeld.
Cheers?
Seinfeld. Simon.
Cheers. No, it's too old.
I'm a lot, like we haven't even come close to give me a ballpark.
Yeah. What? We haven't even hit the top 10.
I said this
Okay,
list.
just give us 1 through 10.
Well, number 1 is Game of Thrones, which I guess you could be like, okay.
It hasn't been around long enough. So repeats don't
Hold
matter.
on.
Stuff could be
Hold on.
not allowed long enough. And
I want to make this clear, Simon. This list stinks. That's why I'm bringing it up. Okay.
All right.
Number 2, Stranger Things,
It doesn't even make sense.
The Walking Dead,
Okay, that was been on for a long time.
13 Reasons Why,
That's impossible.
The 100,
Okay.
Orange is the New Black, Riverdale.
This is a Netflix list.
This is
what's
according to
interesting.
IMDb. Look, the top 100 most watched TV shows of all time.
These are leaked stream numbers.
Hold on.
And a watch could be 4 seconds.
Riverdale was number 7.
Shut the front door.
I used to love
Grey's
Riverdale.
Anatomy,
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Flash,
That makes 0 sense.
Arrow,
Also 0 sense.
Money Heist, Big Bang Theory, Black Mirror, Sherlock, The Vikings. Let me just say this. This is the important thing. Breaking Bad's number 19. The Sopranos is not in the top 100.
I guess it's too old for this list.
Really? The Simpsons is number 25.
Well, but they went 25 seasons or 30 seasons, whatever it is. No, they just hit a lot of different age ranges.
Westworld is number 38.
It's I'm telling you, it's a lie, Matt. This list sucks.
I told you this
Yeah.
list is heinous.
Terrible list.
Sorry, Kamar, back
Come
to
on,
you.
go on.
The Shirley Temple clip is creepy. Have you guys seen Flashdance?
When I was super young, yeah, we'll
Is
do
that the one with she wears the leg warmers? Yeah, I've seen it.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack the brains to guess the budget in the box offiit. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make it, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing Flashdance. And Joe is right. Joe List, that is. Oh, What a Feeling is just a great song. Take your passion.
Ba-ba-na-na-na.
Make
what
it
a
happen.
feeling.
Ba-ba-na-na-na.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
Believing. Yeah, that's a good one.
Starring Jennifer Beals. Who? Mikkel Nuri. Who? Lila Scalia. Who? Sonny Johnson. Who? Kyle T. Hefner. Who? Lee King. Who? Ron Cabrados. Belinda Bauer. Malcolm Denaire. Yeah, if you guys get this, it's huge.
I have a year, Simon. What year do you have?
I have 1986.
I have 84.
1983.
The year of my birth. That's a shame.
Okay, so
So,
maybe I got
a movie about a woman who worked in a steel factory and wanted to be a dancer. And as the addition of her life And Joe gives out the Easter egg that one of the dancers who does the crazy backspin is actually a dude who refused to shave his mustache.
That's incredible.
That's hilarious.
a little Easter egg.
But that's not true, right?
No,
Didn't
they
they
couldn't find
prove
the.
it
No,
wasn't
no,
true?
they
Couldn't bring
found
it right down to the clip, but we believe it's true, so we're going with it.
Okay, Simon, what do you got there, Palo?
Well, why don't you go first today? Oh, no.
Well, I was
we
closest.
both missed. All right, that's a silly rule. I said it cost 7.6 million.
Dude, that's insane.
Kamar,
Okay, go ahead.
Kamar, 7.6 million,
Go ahead.
Did you say a number? Oh, you say
No.
both.
and it made 64 million.
Well, if he wins, I win. I said it cost $7 million, and I said it made 79.8.
I don't think you guys realize how big this movie was. Budget $7 million.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
Box office $201 million.
Whoa!
This shaped a generation.
You know what's great, Kamar? This is what's
Oh,
nuts.
what a feeling.
I was gonna go as high as like 110, but I talked myself out of it because I was like 83. I never ever in a million years would have gone
There's
201
zero
million.
special effects in this movie.
And that-
like not a one.
No, that's why we both
they
said
even
7 million.
exist in
Simon,
1983?
7 million. We both smashed that.
It's in the gym and a couple things at the mill. There you go.
No, they spent 5 million on cocaine.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a great movie.
And another 2.5 million on tights for your legs there.
And
What
it
are
was-
those
and
called?
Stealing from me.
It was a smashing success,
Leg
and no
warmers.
one went on to do anything. But I love it. Check it out. Flashdance, directed by Adrian Lin.
Nice.
And that's the movie game. Oh, he did 9.5 weeks. Fatal Traction, Jacob's Ladder,
Tracken.
Indecent Proposal, Lolita, and Unfaithful. You know he's a
Wow,
weirdo.
all his movies were way better after Flashdance. Have you noticed?
Well, he made that and that gave him carte blanche to make
Yeah.
whatever he wanted.
He just had to show a little leg warmer, and he got all his movies greenlit.
Gave him carte blanche.
Now Joe goes back into devil speak with Joe List.
Good devil
What would the
speak.
devil look like? Who would know? Evil is natural.
The greatest trick the devil played is
AI
Like you believe he
dominance
didn't
would be
exist.
the devil taking control, like sitting back and playing his thing.
totally makes sense.
I still just think it's a metaphor. Like Kamar said, there's evil in all of us.
We must
And we
merge to
convince
become a
we
super
convince
god.
ourselves that we aren't evil.
If there is a God,
Yeah.
okay, if there is such a thing as the God,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be its antithesis. What up and down.
So what if it's a
As
simulation?
above, so below.
But wait, what if it's a simulation? So I created this world.
You still live in a universe that has some guiding force, no, Matt?
I don't know.
No, but I'm saying,
Fucking
even if you
Eagles.
are the creator of the simulation, you're a 12-year-old boy sitting in his room making this whole world. Like, what dictates your universe? Probably some other.
Sure, but does that make that the devil? Whatever dictates my universe?
No,
That's what I'm
I'm
asking.
saying there's probably a God or a God is a bad word, a guiding force to that universe. So there must be the antithesis to that
Okay.
because that's how everything works.
Okay.
As above, so below.
As above, so below.
As above, so below.
As above, so below.
Then Joe then went on a diatribe about how AI is going to take over, merge the machine, the super god, and this is Joe List is in full wood chipper right now.
Oh,
He
I
just
see.
wants to talk
He
about-
doesn't want to
he
be
is
in there.
full
That's what he's
wood
bumming out.
chipper
He's about to
right
have a
now.
baby next week, and he doesn't want to know that the world's going to end.
Bury the
Gotcha.
lead. Yeah, Joe is expecting. Congratulations.
Bury the lead. That was note number 17. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
And then Joe says, "Are you optimistic?" And I'd say anyone with more than $100 million is always going to be optimistic.
yeah, if you're
That's fair, right?
if you have that much money and you're a pessimist, you're a real piece of shit.
I feel like it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Maybe
You're a
not for
real
you,
piece
but
of
it's going to work out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a fucking apocalypse mobile.
Then they talked about the incentive, social media, and the problem with social media is if you want something, you can have it. But there's no, it's sort of taking away the earning, hard work.
What do you mean?
Just you see, everyone has whatever they want. They're doing whatever they want all the time. There's no like,
Yeah, but are you doing whatever you want all the time?
No, but that's the idea. It makes you feel bad, so you go out and spend money making sure that you're doing all the things
Oh,
you
I
want to do,
see.
keeping
Gotcha.
up with the fucking.
Gotcha. The Joneses.
the intent of social media is to give you a new simulation within the simulation.
It's to
if
make
we're in
you
a
jealous
simulation.
of things. That's what it's
Dude, I know a
for.
couple that if you follow them on Instagram, you would assume that they live like just the most lavish lifestyle ever.
I think they do. I know exactly who you're
I know
talking
you
about.
know that.
I think they do. I don't think they're pretending to be anything.
Okay.
But
But you would think that they own a big, beautiful home, right? Not that they live in an apartment. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to.
Well, they never show off their home.
No,
They
I understand.
Show off their vacation.
Listen, I'm not even
spots.
giving them shit. I'm happy for them, and they're clearly happy. But I'm just saying.
But
Like,
you feel like they're creating like a false narrative because it makes it seem like they're rich because they can travel all the time.
would you not assume they're rich if you didn't know them?
Would I not assume they were rich if I didn't know them? Yeah, I guess I would assume they're rich.
I mean, most people don't go on like 5 international trips a year.
No, but if you have like a decent job and you have no kids, kind of the whole world is your oyster. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You have nothing holding you
No,
back.
yeah,
You
that's
have
true,
money
yeah.
to go traveling.
Yeah.
Like that's what you should be doing.
Well, no, we have a home.
Oh yeah, right. You're fucked.
Well, no, we made a choice, right?
Yeah,
Like, no,
no,
and that's
I'm
the
joking,
thing.
I'm
Like, that's
joking.
the thing. They chose.
Yeah,
they
they
want to
chose the other
travel
way.
over having a home.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
So
that's
there
fine
you
too.
go.
I have no problem with that.
But
Everyone
you're
makes
right.
their
The,
choices.
the narrative for a stranger would probably be that they had a lot of money and were able to go traveling 5 times a year.
Yes, that's all. All I'm saying is that, like, if you, let's say I only followed them, I would probably be like, man, I'm really fucking failing. Like, I don't go on this many trips.
Gotcha.
I think that's what Kamar's getting
And
at
if
as
you don't
well.
see anyone going on any trips, then you're not missing out on anything.
Well, I mean, is that true? Like, there are still places you want to see, whether you see other people traveling there or not.
I don't know. One of the things is you brought up the Sphere. I'd like to go there.
Love
May-
to.
but
Oh,
maybe
it'd be
I saw
sick.
it. Maybe I'll never see it.
I mean, out of all the things, that's probably
No,
you
I'm
have
not
a good
saying all
chance
the
of seeing
things.
that one. No, I'm saying that one seems pretty realistic. It's not like you're asking you to go to Machu Picchu or something, you know, where you got to get to Peru and then you got to hike up the fucking mountain.
Every day you'll see some place that you think is sort of cool, but you may never go.
Is the Super Bowl in Vegas this year?
Tis.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be wild. And the Formula One has come up next week or something.
I
So
think it's in
were we-
November, isn't it?
Here's a personal question
month.
for you, or an opinion question. Were we better off when we couldn't see those things? Meaning that you didn't know all the great things in the world that you were missing, so you would never strive to see those things? Or
I
that you
wonder
see
because
them,
the only place I've ever gone that's sort of really different would be New York City or Australia. For sure, New York City, you've seen enough of it. You see enough of it on TVs and movies. But Australia, maybe I would have seen, like, I had no idea. It was so foreign and alien because there wasn't much. There was the picture of the bridge and the tower, but I could not imagine what it was actually like there. And now, if I can see it, I almost have gone there.
Simon, part of the problem with social media too is it gives you a false impression of almost everywhere on Earth. I know for a fact that half the beautiful places you see on Instagram, when you get there, they're nowhere near as beautiful as that. The photo that you're going to take or the video you're going to get, like, I know from taking photos at certain places that they're rife with tourists. Now, again, you show up at like the crack of dawn and maybe you can get that one photo where they're not there. But for the most part, it's just people photoshopping out all the tourists, all the bullshit, making the water super blue,
It's like
raising the
the-
colors and everything. So it
when
looks
they show
fucking.
you the true picture of people summiting Everest,
That's
and
what
it's
I'm
just
yeah,
a
it's just
line
dead
up
bodies
of
and a line of
hikers,
shitheads. Yeah, exactly. Like that doesn't seem.
Yeah.
But you get that photo of you at the top smiling, and that's the one. You know,
The best thing is the thing you don't take a picture of, you just experience. Really,
that's why
still.
live shows are terrible now. You go to a live show and there's just 6,000 cameras in the air.
But we get to benefit so we can vicariously see the spheres. It's 3 hours after the show ended.
But here's the thing: the Sphere just opened. I understand people just experiencing it being like, you're gonna get likes, you're gonna get people who are like, holy fuck, that's crazy. But like, you know, now that I've seen it, I don't need.
Yep. It seemed like there was people in the crowd who weren't filming who were having more time, though. A better time.
I agree.
Think about the zoom and trying to get it in perspective. At this point, Joe tries to switch lanes into steam room, and then Joe just sauna shamed the shit out of him.
Yeah.
The 110, what are you, a pussy?
Yeah.
I go to 200. I try to cook. I come out medium rare when I'm done with the bitch.
No, I didn't get that. It's funny because Joe.
It's all just
you would
Joe List is just throw me a bone here, Joe. I'm
you would
trying
also
to work with you.
You would also think that Joe would be like, at least you're doing something. Like, good for you for taking hold of your health. But no, he's like, oh, sauna is definitely the way to go. Like, dude, let the guy fucking steam. Who gives
Full
a
shame.
shit?
Full
Who
shame.
gives a shit?
And by the way, why are you being such a bitch with Bert Kreischer?
Well, that will never happen. The new
What's going on? I
Joe
didn't see
order.
it.
It's a
What's
new
going
Joe
on with
order.
him and Bert Kreischer?
I told you this whole story. They were at Mark Norman's birthday or bachelor party, and Bert and somebody went to buy like food, but then Joe List ordered a pizza and there was like a big fight because Bert's crazy and
So
they've been
stupid.
fucking
So
warring ever
stupid.
since. Or maybe not. Who knows?
So Joe tried to rebound off that into gay sex and gyms, which I think is more of a big city thing. We don't have a lot of that here. But if you believe in quality, you should suck that guy off, which turned into Joe again changing lanes and saying, would you eat your own cum out of a person, which I think is the best cum to eat is your own cum.
Oh,
eating
100%.
cum.
And for a big amount of money, like I would eat my own cum. It's not something I want to do, but for that much cash, like $100
You could look
million
yourself in the
dollars.
mirror. No, it's $800.
It's
is what we
first
got,
of all,
Joe.
it's
Okay,
weird.
$800 is not enough. That's not enough. It would have to be like
It was very weird that
tens of thousands.
they even had an argument as to whether licking your own cum off a girl's tits
Oh,
or
that was-
sucking
that
it out
was
of someone's
that was
ass.
crazy.
Like, easy choice.
Well, because Joe didn't like the idea that you had to look the girl in the eyes as you did it.
And
Where if you were licking it out of your ass, you're certainly not looking her in the eyes. So unless she has like her head between her legs,
Joe is
or
saying
something,
whatever
which
he
would
could-
be really fucking weird.
Joe was saying whatever he could to get away from his own mortality, and
Yeah.
Joe telling him how he's doomed and he should never have a kid, and then goes on to how he pays to eat semen, a fish semen.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't even know the fish. You don't even know the fish's name. And you're sucking its semen back.
Dude, I posted this video the other day. This black guy goes up to this other black guy and he opens his jacket and he's got this like display of like, it looks like when someone used to have stolen watches. And he's like, ooh, what you got there? And he's like, they call this, I can't remember what he called it. He's like, oh, they call this like God's nectar. And he's like, God's nectar. And he's like, yeah, you never heard of this? And the guy's like, no, I never heard of it. And he's like, take some. So the guy takes like a plastic spoon and he dips it in and he's like smelling it and smelling it. And then he like, he dips his tongue on it and he goes, that's good. And he like takes a bite of it. He's like, God damn, that's good. And he goes, it's good, right? And he goes, yeah, that's so good. What is that? And he goes, it's African sperm. And dude, the black guy's face, he goes, the fuck it is. His fucking reaction, I'll show it to you after. It's fucking incredible.
Dude, is there a word worse than semen sack?
No,
That's right up there,
Right?
right?
It sounds better
Semen
than
sack.
semen sack. The semen is still contained, right? Sort of a capsule.
that's
the
worse.
sack.
That's worse.
Like I
It's
thought,
just the
I
semen
thought
running down.
scrotum was bad, but semen sack definitely takes the cake.
yeah, it's worse than moist panties.
It's up there in the same. It's in the
Moist
conversation.
panties is really bad. Semen sack and moist panties; those are like
have-
marriage material.
My moist panties are full of semen sacks.
Sacks, of
Probably the
semen.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another strange exchange where
Because of my sacks of semen, you now have moist panties.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you
I like
go.
that. It's like a children's, like a nursery rhyme.
Joe List, I believe, said I've tried whale and deer, and Joe was like, "How far apart things be?" And I was thinking we were just talking about whales to wolves weeks ago. So it's not that.
Well, and he actually tried reindeer, which is a huge difference
Yeah.
from reindeer and deer.
Well, that's where the disconnect was, because Joe's like, well, they serve deer at a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh,
Really?
interesting.
I had it in Iceland.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, it's a reindeer. I was like, yeah, totally different.
Which is
Caribou
in
that's been
captivity.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think that was a big thing we learned.
Yeah, that
His
definitely
idea
was.
for a show is amazing.
It was so stupid.
You have to get out of some place and then get laid.
I don't understand the get laid part.
It would rarely happen, but it'd be amazing if some guy pulled it off.
So you come out, you've been like surviving in the bush for however long, eating fucking semen sacks.
Then you gotta
out of
style on a
bulls,
honey.
out of moose, and then you got to style. I think it's stupid.
But I don't get it. So do you have to go find a local bar? Like you have to trek
Yeah,
to the
pretty
local
much.
bar?
If you can pull in the library, go to the library, man. But yeah, the bar is probably the best thing.
And you have to get fucked on camera? Is that part of it too?
Maybe we don't have to make it that graphic because I said how MILF Manor was such a disaster. Maybe you just have to get digits.
Okay. Okay.
I got to tell you though, Joe bad mouthing Naked and Afraid again,
Yeah.
when he's obviously never watched the show,
is
doesn't
a
know
big problem
what
for
the
Simon.
fuck it's about, because it is just as gritty as Alone. I don't give a fuck what you say. Watch it. Those guys are doing everything that the Alone guys do, but with no clothes
You're
on.
saying
So
it's natty.
go fuck yourself.
You're saying it's natty.
Go fuck yourself, Joe.
Mic dropped.
Yeah.
And
Boom.
that show would not work
History.
for women because they'd probably pick up a guy in the woods. Would have to
truck
say.
driver, dude. They could just pull their truck. Yeah.
On Naked and Afraid,
Yep.
I think there was only like one time where anybody had any sort of relations. Because the idea, I think, of being that dirty and still fucking is repulsive. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I would agree.
And none of the girls can shave and shit, which is a huge turn on.
No comedic offspring as such. I think Richard Pryor's daughter did some stand up.
But not to like a career.
Like it's big shoes.
Isn't
to
that
fill.
crazy though that there's never been a comedian's kid who has gone into comedy and succeeded?
But in the professional sports, they have had.
In everything else, it's happened. Like acting all the time. Why not comedy? That is so weird. I had never thought about that before.
And I think if you were doing it, you'd want to change your name anyways, not to have that.
I
There's
guess
gotta
a
be
lot of
someone just maybe not as
comedians
successful.
don't have kids. That must be part of it. So it limits down the pool a lot. You know what I mean? But still, I'm very surprised.
I think we're also you're more likely to see it in the future because comedy back in the day was more of a conduit to try to be an actor. Like Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie Prinze was a comedian trying to be an actor, right? So his son ends up being an actor, which was the main
Right.
goal. You didn't want to be a stand-up comedian.
Like Jonah Hill isn't a comedian. He's a comedic actor, but you see, he's an actor. He's not a comedian.
No, I don't.
So,
He's not a comedian in my eyes. I don't care if his kid becomes a fucking stand-up comedian.
yeah, no, it's very odd. I'm surprised that hasn't happened. But
Like I was
maybe
saying, there's
in the
probably someone
future.
on a less successful, like
Maybe one of Joe's kids.
no, but even then, there's probably a lifelong comedian in Cleveland whose kid does it now, but they're just not.
A successful comedian
enough.
with a
Okay.
successful
Yes, fine.
comedian offspring.
Maybe in our lifetime it'll happen. But yeah, it's just big shoes to fill. Joe's only conspiracy left is climate change. It's the only thing he dabbles in now. He was saying the orange smoke he thought was different and that some of the fires are man-made. Some people have said, I believe my old uncle did, that part of it is forest mismanagement. There's just too much dry wood. So it'll be interesting to see next year, this time, if we have the same amount of fires or this burn actually bought us some years before the next big fire. The 3.4 trillion trees, no one knows how they count that. Ice age is the biggest worry. I was watching this one thing, it had no climate slant to it, but at some point it said the Sahara Desert was green and lush.
We know this.
Yeah,
Well,
the Gardens of Babylon.
And there were no cars or I was just,
It's just
the
like
climate changes.
Egypt
But we also
was
know that
lush
deserts,
and
but
green
deserts
too.
move.
Deserts move. Sun begs for rain.
You're talking about
The sun begs for rain?
That's it. The sun begs for rain.
Man-made fires versus climate change fires. I think they're all the same. He's saying someone like threw a cigarette butt sort of thing.
I'm sure that happens all the time.
Yeah, but the point is, if it wasn't so dry due to climate change, the cigarette wouldn't always, right?
Well, it
Couldn't
just
that
might
argument
not
be
have
made?
burnt down as big a patch,
Yeah.
but you probably still start a fire.
Joe List is right. It's weird how the Ewoks can destroy the mighty empire with sticks and stones.
Well, they don't destroy the mighty empire. Oh, in that one scene, you mean? But they have the help of Princess Leia, and there's a lot going on there. Come on, it's not like they're just...
Yeah, come on, Kamar and Joe List. Fuck off.
And the ways they do it aren't like they set up ropes, and so it's all very
booby traps,
believable.
yeah.
It's not like they're out there fighting them with their sticks, you know? It's not
I think if they-
lasers against spears.
I think if they're all Bigfoots or Chewies, it'd be a lot more.
And don't they have lasers too? Ewoks have zero lasers?
no.
It's all sticks and stones.
I think they end up picking up some.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Which
fair
one is it when they go to the Chewy world? I like
enough.
that.
Way later. One of
And
the...
they
third
still
one, isn't it?
they still have
Return
not
of the
done
Jedi.
a
No,
Chewy,
no. It's one of the new movies.
Oh.
a Chewy movie.
They've done a Chewy something on the Disney Channel. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I couldn't relate more with Joe Rogan when he talked about dreaming of one day when the comic books would come alive to become movies.
I agree.
I think we're in that.
Yeah.
We're all in that sort of realm.
Well, maybe Matt's pretty young. He might not have been. He
Well,
might have been
young,
more
but-
into like Pokemon coming into the movies. That must have been cool for you,
You're
right?
such an asshole. No, like my problem is like I loved the Punisher growing up, and then anything they released Punisher wise, I was like, this is trash.
That was my least favorite comic growing up. I hated the Punisher.
The vigilante because we like superpowers, probably.
No, but I liked Vigilante, the comic book. I just didn't like the Punisher. I don't know. It was always just like guns. It was never.
That's fine. I liked guns.
I don't know. Wasn't my shtick.
Best Batman, I'll agree, is Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, 100%.
Yeah.
Don't love the voice, but
We have an agreement.
Best Joker, Heath Ledger, or
no, Heath Ledger, hands down.
It killed him. It's got to be him.
I don't
mean,
even consider that other. Jack Nicholson was great.
Yeah, that's what
no, but he was talking about.
the Joker.
I don't even consider that a Batman
Joaquin
movie.
Phoenix.
Because
Like,
Batman's not in it.
Yeah.
Nobody's in
The
it.
best Joker
it's nothing.
in a Batman
It's not
movie,
even
Heath
like
Ledger. We have an agreement.
It's not even a. What do you call those? The stories that make people
origin story.
origin story. You know.
I saw this guy being interviewed the other day, and he's like, "Fuck Batman." He's like, "You're telling me he's like billionaire white guy, rich as fuck." He's like, "What is he doing? He's out there fighting pickpockets at night, low level crime." He's like, "He's not fighting the oligarchy. He's not out there fighting." He's like, "Fuck Batman. Batman's garbage." McCaffrey touchdown, unreal.
I only wish there was comics that I still liked yet to come. Like every stone, it feels like has been.
But you don't.
overturned.
No, you don't pay attention. Like if you still were in the comic book world, I bet you'd.
There's a comic book now that is going to become a crazy movie. I doubt it.
Really? Why?
Spawn became a movie. Like, how many teenage mutant Ninja Turtles started out as a comic? So, so that's like one of the first things that became cartoon and whatnot.
I think there are still plenty of good movies they could make. They just don't, because the average person doesn't know. Like, I'm just gonna make an example here, okay? Kraven the Hunter. Like, you could do an awesome movie about that guy. That's a cool backstory, blah, 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 whatever. I think they are actually doing something with him, but there are all sorts of, like, you could focus on the bad guys. There's plenty of directions for them to go in movies still. They're just so interested in making it as big a blockbuster as possible that it doesn't leave a lot of room for.
I think it also, that Matt Damon interview about the DVDs, like you mentioned Spawn, I bet they made a killing on the DVD sales of Spawn. Whereas now, like, they can't just take the chance to be like, oh, this off-brand character that we think is cool. I don't know.
Well, it didn't help that it was a horrible movie.
There's no massive comic that hasn't been made, though. I think that's all I'm saying.
But even then,
unless it's a new comic that's come out today that I don't know of from our.
You know what? You would think Spawn right now is irrelevant, right?
I would, yes.
You would you? Because Call of Duty this season, all the characters they released are Spawn or from the Spawn world. So very interesting, right?
Full circle.
Is that true? There is no comic book character, big comic book character that hasn't gotten a movie?
I'm putting that out there.
I think
There's no big comic book character that hasn't gotten a movie.
like he's saying there's nobody left to make a movie about.
I can't be right.
That can't be right.
Well, let us know if you know different. I thought it was cute. Joe wanted to pull up a clip of a documentary he's working on, and he got really flustered. It was his big time to shine, and he didn't get it up.
Joe got really pissed at Jamie too. Just look up what I'm asking for and don't just assume you know the answer.
Getting testy.
Testy.
Spider-Man, Batman, Iron Man, Iron Fist, Cyborg, they've all been included. Maybe they don't have the soul of Silver Surfer, Stop Me When You Get Tired, Fantastic Four, The
they're
Thing,
all there.
Incredible Hulk.
And do you have any others?
Who's shaking the table? Is that you?
No.
Well, I see you guys have checked out. Joe
I'm
List
not
was
checked
great.
out. I'm just waiting for you to.
I give it a 5.
Jesus Christ, this is just unreal. I'll give it a 3.
I'll give this one a 2.5.
It was a 3. All right, that's it.
It was a 3.
That's it. If you made it this far, congratulations. You are a real one. Maybe you're willing to go a step further. We have a Patreon if you want to support the show and get some extra content. You can head over to patreon.com/JREE. For that $5 a month, you'll get, some shit. Check it out. Or don't. We don't really care. I don't care if you subscribe. I don't care about any of that shit.
It's you.
It's me?
You're shaking the table.
Yeah, I know it's me.
Oh, he knows it's
Yeah, I'm well fucking aware. Like, I'm not a fucking asshole. Yeah. I mean, I am an asshole, but I'm not. Yeah.
both things can be true.
Yeah, no, they're not mutually exclusive. That's it. Thank you so much to our sponsors. There will be links in the description. Be sure to go and check them out. If you are on the Patreon, stick around for the post, Joe. Well, you won't get it for a few days, so don't stick around.
None of that makes.
No, that's true. Whatever.
It's all good.
All right, that's it. We hope you have a great week. We hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.